My name is Sophia Lin. At least, that is what my driver's license says. Before that, I was Maya Anderson in Chicago. Before that,
Thank you
Julia
for the
Kim in
tea.
Seattle.
Now,
I
let's
have had
discuss
so
the
many
terms of the
names.
agreement.
Sometimes I wake up and forget which one I'm supposed to answer to. But my real name, the one my grandfather whispered when I was born during plum blossom season in San Francisco, is Lin Mei. Beautiful plum blossom. I have not answered to that name in 4 years, 7 months, and 12 days. The alarm sounds at 5:30 in the morning, always before dawn. There is safety in darkness, in the hours when the city still sleeps and the streets belong to no one. I reach for my phone on the nightstand, silencing the buzz with practiced efficiency. 3 locks on my apartment door. I check them every morning, even though I locked them myself the night before, even though no one has tried to break in, even though I know, logically, that checking them again and again will not make me safer. But logic and fear do not speak the same language. My studio apartment in Queens is small, sparse, impeccably clean. Everything I own fits into 2 suitcases. This is not minimalism. This is preparation. This is the life of someone who knows that at any moment, she might need to disappear. There are no photographs on the walls, no personal items scattered on surfaces, nothing that speaks of permanence or belonging. The only decoration is a small jade plant on the windowsill, the kind that survives neglect, the kind that does not need much to stay alive. In the closet, behind my work uniforms and thrift store clothes, sits an emergency bag. It has been packed for 4 years. $15,000 in cash, wrapped in plastic bags. 3 sets of fake identification, each with a different name, a different history. Burner phones still in their packaging, a change of clothes, protein bars that I replace every 6 months. Everything I would need to vanish within an hour. I look at that bag every morning. Some days I want to grab it and run. Most days I wonder why I have not. The photographs on my phone are the only photographs I have. My grandfather at his dojo in San Francisco. His weathered face stern but kind. His hands positioned in a teaching gesture. Myself at age 8, practicing forms in his studio. My child's face serious with concentration. No recent photos. Digital footprints can be traced. Faces can be recognized. In the age of facial recognition and reverse image searches, invisibility requires discipline. Every morning I make chrysanthemum tea the way my grandfather taught me. The ritual is meditation in motion. Boil the water to exactly the right temperature. Warm the pot. Measure the dried flowers with care. Pour with intention. Breathe. This is the only part of Lin Mei I let Sophia keep. This small act of remembering who I was before I became no one. I catch my reflection in the mirror above the sink. Sometimes I do not recognize the woman looking back. She has my face, my eyes, but there is something hollow in her expression, something exhausted. Who am I when I am no one? Who is the woman with no past, no future, only this endless present of survival? The subway ride to Manhattan takes 40 minutes. I use the time to prepare my mask. Sophia Lin, server at Le Bernardin, is professional, competent, forgettable. She smiles at customers, but never too warmly. She performs her duties flawlessly, but never draws attention. She exists in that perfect middle ground between memorable and invisible. She is exactly what I need her to be. Le Bernardin sits on West 51st Street, a monument to culinary excellence, to precision, to the kind of perfection that requires absolute dedication. 3 Michelin stars, a reservation list months long, the kind of place where meals cost more than some people make in a week. I arrive 15 minutes before my shift begins. Always early, never late. Reliability is currency when you are trying to stay invisible. The staff entrance leads through the kitchen, where Chef Antoine Laurent is already preparing for the evening service. He is French, in his 50s, with the kind of exacting standards that would terrify most servers. But he is also kind, in his way. He notices things. He sees people. Good morning, Sophia. His accent turns my fake name into something almost musical. Good morning, chef. I change into my uniform in the staff room, movements efficient from years of practice. Black dress, simple but elegant, hair pulled back in a neat bun, minimal jewelry, the uniform of invisibility. In the dining room, I begin my pre-service ritual. Study the reservation book like it is a sacred text. Memorize names, table numbers, special occasions. The Andersons at table 7, celebrating their anniversary. Mrs. Patterson at table 14, who lost her husband 3 months ago and comes here because this was their place. The businessman at table 9 who prefers his wine slightly warmer than usual. I committed all to memory, every detail, every preference. This is how you become indispensable. This is how you survive. The kitchen manager, Mrs. Chen, appears beside me. She is 60-something, Chinese, with eyes that seem to see more than they should. She has worked here for 20 years, knows everyone, notices everything. She speaks to me in Mandarin. Child, you cannot live like a ghost forever. I am surprised enough to look up from the reservation book. I prefer to keep work and personal life separate, I reply in English, rebuilding my walls. She switches to English, but her expression remains knowing. 6 months you work here, never join the staff for drinks, never share stories about your life, never laugh without stopping yourself. This is not living. I am fine, I tell her. The lie comes easily now. Fine is not the same as happy. When did you last laugh without remembering to stop yourself? I do not have an answer for that. I turn back to the reservation book, hoping she will take the hint. She does not. Your eyes are old, she says quietly. Too old for someone your age. I know that look. It is the look of someone carrying weight that should not be hers to carry alone. I need to prepare for service, I tell her, and walk away before she can say anything else. But her words stay with me. Your eyes are old. I catch my reflection in the polished surface of a wineglass. She is right. There is something ancient in my gaze, something that has seen too much, survived too much. The afternoon passes in familiar rhythms. Reviewing the wine list, checking table settings, confirming dietary restrictions with the kitchen. I move through these tasks with the precision my grandfather taught me. Every movement intentional, every detail perfect. This is what Kung Fu gave me, beyond the ability to fight. It gave me discipline. It gave me the ability to be present in each moment, even when every moment feels like standing on the edge of a cliff. At 2 o'clock, the staff meeting begins. Chef Antoine runs through the evening menu, special requests, VIP reservations. The owner is coming tonight, someone whispers. Ethan Sterling himself, inspection visit. I feel my stomach tighten. I have worked here for 6 months without drawing the attention of anyone in upper management. That is exactly how I want it. Invisible, forgettable. But fate, it seems, has other plans. Across the city, in a corner office 40 stories above street level, Ethan Sterling sits at his desk and feels absolutely nothing. He is 33 years old. He owns Sterling Hospitality Group, a restaurant empire worth $3 billion, 15 restaurants across the United States, including 3 Michelin-starred establishments. He has more money than he could spend in 10 lifetimes. He regularly appears on lists of most eligible bachelors, most successful entrepreneurs under 40, people to watch, and he is empty. The quarterly reports spread across his desk tell a story of continued success. Revenue up, expansion, proceeding on schedule, shareholders delighted, everything growing, everything perfect, everything exactly as it should be. He should be proud. He should be satisfied. He is neither. His mother died when he was 12. Cancer, quick and brutal. His father dealt with grief by working constantly, teaching young Ethan that success equals love, that achievement equals worth. Build something, his father said. Make something of yourself. Then you will matter. So Ethan built and built and built, and woke up every morning feeling nothing. His business partner, Derek Morrison, enters without knocking. Derek is 35, sharp-featured, sharper-minded, with the kind of ambition that knows no ethical boundaries. They have been partners for 8 years, friends for 12, though Ethan sometimes wonders if Derek is capable of actual friendship. Board approved the Asian expansion, Derek announces, dropping into the chair across from Ethan's desk. $40 million deal. We are celebrating tonight. Bring someone gorgeous. I do not have anyone to bring. Derek laughed. You are a billionaire. Rent someone. Ethan looks up from the reports, something uncomfortable twisting in his chest. That is not funny. It is efficient. Relationships are complicated. Sex and companionship can be transactional. Easier that way. Easier is not the same as meaningful. Derek shrugs. Meaning is overrated. Profit is not. Ethan studies his partner's face, seeing something he has chosen to ignore for years. Derek views everything as transactional. People are assets or liabilities. Women are resources to be utilized or avoided. There is no warmth in him, no genuine human connection. How did I not see this before? Ethan wonders. Or did I see it and choose to ignore it because his skills made me money? Get out, Ethan says quietly. What? I have an inspection at Le Bernardin tonight. I need to prepare. Derek stands, straightening his suit. Do not get too focused on that waitress everyone is talking about. The one from the news. What waitress? You have not seen it? Derek pulls out his phone, brings up a video. Some robbery attempt at Le Bernardin 3 days ago. One of your servers took down 3 armed men. It is all over social media. Ethan watches the video. A young woman, moving with impossible grace and devastating precision. 30 seconds of violence so controlled it looks like dance. 3 men unconscious. Not a hair out of place on her head. Who is she? Sophia Lin. Been with you for 6 months. Clean background check, minimal employment history. Probably running from something. Derek's tone is dismissive. Do not get involved. Women with secrets are nothing but trouble. After Derek leaves, Ethan watches the video again and again. He is not looking at the violence. He is looking at her face, calm, focused, and underneath it all profoundly sad. Le Bernardin begins to fill as evening approaches. I move through my section with practiced efficiency. 8 tables, 32 potential guests, each one requiring attention, care, the illusion that they are my only priority. Mrs. Patterson sits at table 14, alone. She is 80, elegant, and heartbreakingly lonely. I approach with gentle respect. Mrs. Patterson, welcome back. She looks up surprised. You remember me, dear? You ordered the Dover sole with no butter, preferred Sancerre, and mentioned it was your anniversary. 62 years, that is beautiful. Her eyes fill with tears. My husband passed 3 months ago. This was our restaurant. I kneel beside her chair, breaking every protocol, not caring. I'm so sorry for your loss. Would you like the same table you shared with him? I can arrange it. She touches my hand with fingers like paper. You are very kind. What is your name? I pause. Who am I in this moment? Sophia. My name is Sophia. Sophia means wisdom. It suits you. Something in my chest cracks. A small fissure in the armor I have built around my heart. This woman, grieving her husband of 62 years, telling me I am wise. Me, who has been running for 4 years. Me, who cannot even remember my real name without flinching. I see him the moment he enters. Not because I know who he is, but because I have been trained since childhood to notice threats. And Ethan Sterling, though I do not yet know his name, carries himself like someone who could be dangerous. He is tall, well-built without being obvious about it. His suit is custom, his watch expensive, but not flashy. He moves through the dining room with quiet authority, the kind of confidence that comes from owning everything you see. 2 people trail behind him. Assistant, security. This is someone important. I turn away, focusing on my tables. Invisible, forgettable, neat. But I feel his eyes on me. I am refilling wine glasses at table 9 when he appears beside me. Excuse me. You are Sophia Lin? His voice is deep, controlled, but there is something underneath. Curiosity, genuine interest. I turn, professional mask perfectly in place. Yes, Mr. Sterling. Is something wrong with the service? He seems surprised that I know who he is. No, quite the opposite. I noticed how you helped Mrs. Patterson. That was compassionate. I keep my expression neutral. It is part of good service. No. He shakes his head slightly. Good service is refilling wine glasses and remembering orders. What you did was human decency. They are not the same. I do not know how to respond to this. Men like him, wealthy and powerful, do not usually notice the difference between service and humanity. Is there something specific you need, Mr. Sterling? He hesitates, as if he wants to say something else, then thinks better of it. No. Sorry for interrupting your work. He walks away. I watch him go, feeling something I have not felt in years. Curiosity. Who is this man who notices kindness? Who sees the difference between doing a job and caring for another human being? I do not have time to think about it further. At 8:47 exactly, 3 men burst through the front entrance. They wear dark hoodies. Their faces are partially concealed. Their intentions become immediately clear when one of them shouts, "Everyone on the ground now." The dining room explodes into chaos. 60 guests, all screaming, dropping to the floor, the sound of expensive glassware shattering against marble. Servers abandoning trays, the metallic click of a gun being cocked, wallets, phones, jewelry, everything valuable in the bag. The leader has a scar running down his left cheek, dead eyes, a pistol that he waves with casual menace. Any heroes tonight? And people start dying. I become perfectly still. This is what my grandfather trained me for. Not tournaments or demonstrations. This. Real violence, real stakes. The moment when everything slows down and you see with absolute clarity what needs to be done. My breathing steadies. My heart rate drops. I catalog everything in 2 seconds. 3 attackers. Leader has the gun, but his stance is wrong. Weight too far forward, easy to unbalance. Second man to his left, younger, nervous, finger not quite on the trigger. Third man by the door, watching the room, probably their lookout. I position myself behind a marble pillar, partially concealed. Clear sightlines to all 3. My feet shift into stance without conscious thought. 13 years of training. Muscle memory. The leader points his gun directly at me. "You, pretty lady with the ponytail. Start collecting from these rich folks. Move." I step forward, hands visible, posture submissive. "Of course, please do not hurt anyone." He relaxes, thinks he has found someone compliant, someone controllable, someone weak. This is his last mistake. I move. The marble-top side table is heavy, but I use his own momentum against him, spin it toward his midsection with all my weight behind it. The impact sends him crashing backward into the wine display. Bottles shatter. His gun skitters across the floor. The second gunman turns toward the sound. Too slow. I am already dropping low, sweeping his legs with a movement so practiced it is almost gentle. Almost. He hits the ground face first. I am on him before he can recover, striking the pressure point on his neck with surgical precision. He goes limp. The third man is raising his weapon. I roll behind the bar, grab a wine bottle in one fluid motion, launch myself over the bar in an aerial movement that my grandfather would have approved of. My foot connects with his wrist. The gun flies away. My elbow finds his solar plexus. He crumples, gasping. 30 seconds. 3 men, unconscious or incapacitated. The restaurant falls silent except for the sound of my breathing, which is still perfectly controlled. I straighten my uniform, check my ponytail, look around at the debris with genuine concern. "I am so sorry about the mess," I say to no one in particular. "I know this will require extensive cleanup." Someone starts clapping, then another person. Then the entire restaurant erupts in applause. I do not want applause, I want to disappear. Ethan Sterling stands frozen near table 12, staring at me like I am something he cannot quite comprehend. That is when I know I have made a terrible mistake. I have been visible. Police sirens wail in the distance. Detective Martinez arrives, professional and thorough. She takes statements from everyone, secures the scene, praises me for my bravery. I am not brave, I am terrified. Because the video is already spreading. Someone filmed it on their phone. Waitress defeats 3 armed robbers. It will be everywhere by morning. And Vincent Zhao, wherever he is, will see it. Ethan approaches me while I am giving my statement to the detective. "Ms. Lin is a hero," he tells her firmly. "Make sure that is clear in your report. She is not a suspect." "I am not a hero," I say quietly. "I just react quickly in dangerous situations. It is not complicated." But it is complicated. Everything about this is complicated. When the police finally finish, when the crowd disperses, when the restaurant begins to empty, Ethan finds me again. "Have dinner with me." I blink in surprise. "Excuse me?" "Tomorrow night. Somewhere quiet where we can talk without interruption. I would like to know more about you." "Mr. Sterling, I do not think that is appropriate. You are my boss." "Actually, I am your boss's boss's boss." He smiles slightly, which makes it even more inappropriate, but I am asking anyway. "Why?" The simple question seems to catch him off guard. He thinks about it for a long moment. "Because in 33 years of living, I have never met anyone like you." I study his face, looking for the angle, the manipulation, the thing he wants from me. But all I see is genuine curiosity. Maybe loneliness that matches my own. I do not date customers, employers, or men who think they can collect interesting people like trophies. Which category do I fall into? All 3. He laughs despite the rejection. Fair enough. But What if I was not your employer? You would still be a customer who thinks I am some kind of trophy. And if I promise not to treat you like a trophy, I shake my head. Mr. Sterling, we live in completely different worlds. You own restaurants, I clean tables, you wear suits that cost more than my rent. I shop at thrift stores. You collect art, I collect tips. The math does not work. Math can be wrong, not this kind of math. Something flickers across his face. Frustration. Genuine emotion breaking through his controlled exterior. What would it take? For what? For you to have dinner with me. I am quiet for a long moment. Weighing, calculating. It would take you being someone completely different than who you are, Mr. Sterling. And since that is impossible, I suggest we both accept reality and move on. I walk away before he can respond. Leave him standing among the broken glass and unconscious criminals. Leave him wondering. It is better this way, safer, for both of us. At 2 a.m, I lie in bed, staring at the ceiling. My ribs ache from the fight. Nothing broken, just bruised. I have had worse. My phone sits on the nightstand, dark and silent. Then it buzzes. Unknown number. I stare at it. I should not answer. But something makes me pick it up. Some instinct. Some need to know. Voicemail. I press play. His voice fills my small apartment like smoke. Like poison. Lin Mei, I saw the news. YouTube video has 50,000 views already. Waitress defeats 3 armed robbers. Very impressive. Also very visible. You have been invisible for so long. Why reveal yourself now? We need to talk. I am sending someone to arrange a meeting. Vincent Zhao, the man I have been running from for 4 years, 7 months, and 12 days. I go to my closet, look at the emergency bag. My hands reach for it automatically. Muscle memory, survival instinct. But I stop. Mrs. Chen's words echo in my mind. You cannot live like a ghost forever. Your eyes are old. Too old for someone your age. Ethan Sterling's face surfaces in my memory. The way he looked at me, not like a thing to own. Not like a puzzle to solve. Just seen. Really seen. Really. If I run tonight, I prove my mother right. That I am weak. That independence is fantasy. That women like me only survive by hiding. If I stay, people might die because of me. Again, Michael Chen surfaces in my memory. Chicago, 2 years ago. Kind lawyer who wanted to help. His body pulled from Lake Michigan 2 weeks after he started building my case against Vincent. Police ruled it suicide. It was not. I should run. Every instinct screams at me to pack the bag, disappear into the night, start over somewhere else. Phoenix, Portland, somewhere Vincent has not found yet. But I am so tired. Tired of running. Tired of new names. Tired of forgetting who I am. Tired of living like a ghost, like Mrs. Chen said. For 4 years, I have had nothing to lose. No attachments, no connections, no hope. But today, an elderly widow told me my name means wisdom. A wealthy man looked at me like I mattered. A kitchen manager spoke to me in my own language and saw through every wall I have built. Today, for the first time in 4 years, I felt almost human. I close the closet door, leave the emergency bag where it sits. This might be the stupidest decision I have ever made. Or the bravest. I do not know which. I only know that I am tired of running, that I am tired of winter, that somewhere deep inside, beneath all the fear and trauma and survival instinct, there is still a girl named Lin Mei who wants to see spring. My phone buzzes again. Text message from a number I do not recognize. Sophia, Chef Antoine gave me your number. I hope that is okay. I want you to know that what you did tonight was extraordinary. You saved lives, including mine. If you change your mind about dinner, the offer stands. No expectations, no pressure, just conversation. Ethan. I stare at the message for a long time. Then I type a response. Coffee. Tomorrow morning. 7 a.m. Same diner where you probably followed me after my shift last week. I hit send before I can change my mind. His response comes 30 seconds later. I will be there. I set my phone down. Look around my sparse apartment. At the jade plant on the windowsill. Still alive despite my neglect. At the tea set my grandfather gave me, the only possession I have kept through 4 years of running. At the empty walls that hold no photographs, no memories, no proof that I exist. Maybe it is time to start existing again. Maybe it is time to remember that my name is Lin Mei, beautiful plum blossom, born during spring. Maybe winter can end after all. I close my eyes. Tomorrow, Vincent's people will come. Tomorrow I will have to face the consequences of being visible. Tomorrow everything might fall apart. But tonight I chose to stay. That has to count for something. In his penthouse across the city, Ethan Sterling reads Sophia's message for the 5th time. Coffee. Tomorrow morning. 7 a.m. She said yes. She is terrified. He can tell from the terseness of the message, from the public location she chose, from the early hour that suggests she wants witnesses around. She is terrified, but she said yes. He does not understand why this matters so much. He has dated models, actresses, brilliant businesswomen. He has had relationships, brief and ultimately meaningless. None of them felt like this, like something important is beginning. He thinks about the way she moved during the robbery. Not just the physical skill, though that was remarkable, but the calm, the control, the absolute certainty of someone who has done this before. Where does a 22-year-old waitress learn to fight like that? What is she running from? And why does he feel like knowing her might be the first meaningful thing he has done in years? Derek's words surface in his memory. Women with secrets are nothing but trouble. Probably true. Ethan does not care. He falls asleep thinking about sad eyes and quiet courage, about a woman who apologized for property damage after saving 60 lives, about someone who kneels beside grieving widows and remembers their orders from months ago, about Sophia Lin, who is clearly not who she pretends to be. Tomorrow he will start to understand why. Tomorrow everything changes. Across the city, in a luxury hotel suite, a man watches the video for the 10th time. Lin Mei, moving like water, like violence, like the girl he paid $2 million to own 4 years ago. Vincent Zhao smiles. Found you. He makes a phone call. Quiet words in Mandarin. Instructions delivered with calm precision. He is patient. He has waited 4 years. He can wait one more day. But Lin Mei will come home, one way or another. They always do. In Chinatown, above the herbal medicine shop, Mrs. Chen sits at her kitchen table, drinking chrysanthemum tea. She saw the news, recognized the girl immediately, even with the different name, the different hair. Lin Mei. She thinks about her old friend, Lin Hua, who died 10 years ago. Thinks about the promise she made. Watch over her granddaughter if she ever needs you. Tomorrow, Mrs. Chen decides, she will tell the girl the truth about her grandmother, about the women who came before her, about the strength that runs in her blood. Tomorrow, she will help the girl remember who she really is. Tonight, she simply drinks her tea and whispers a prayer to old gods and new. Keep her safe, let her find her spring. The city sleeps, dreams, breathes, and in a small apartment in Queens, a woman with 3 names and 1 identity crisis makes the bravest decision of her life. She stays. Winter is ending. Spring is coming. The only question is whether she will survive long enough to see it bloom. The morning arrives with fog rolling off the East River, turning Queens into something ghostly and unreal. I have not slept. Sleep requires a kind of surrender that I cannot afford. Not when Vincent Zhao knows where I am. Not when I have chosen to stay instead of run. At 6 in the morning, I stand outside the herbal medicine shop in Chinatown. The neon sign flickers in English and Chinese characters. Above the shop, lights glow in the second-floor windows. Mrs. Chen is awake. Somehow, I knew she would be. I climb the narrow stairs, my hand trailing along the worn wooden banister. The building smells like ginger and dried chrysanthemum, like my grandfather's house used to smell before everything fell apart. The scent triggers memories I have spent 4 years trying to forget. Mrs. Chen opens the door before I can knock. She wears a simple cotton dress, her gray hair pulled back, her face lined with years of living. She does not look surprised to see me. I made tea, she says in Mandarin. Sit. Her apartment is small but filled with life. Photographs cover every surface. Family weddings, grandchildren, a life lived fully, documented, remembered. Everything my apartment is not. On the walls hang scrolls with Chinese calligraphy, proverbs I recognize from my childhood. The righteous person falls 7 times, but rises 8 times. The journey of 1,000 miles begins with a single step. I sit at her kitchen table. She pours tea into delicate porcelain cups, the kind my grandmother used to use. The steam rises between us, fragrant and familiar. How do you know my real name? I ask, even though I already suspect the answer. Your grandfather and my late husband were friends. Master Chen Wei trained my ramen in San Francisco 40 years ago. She settles into the chair across from me, her movements careful with age. When I saw you at the restaurant, I recognized your face from photographs. You look like your grandmother. The words hit me like a physical blow. My grandmother died 10 years ago. I was 12. I barely remember her, except for the way she used to watch me practice kung fu with my grandfather. Her expression unreadable, her approval always just out of reach. You knew my grandmother? Lin Hua was my closest friend before she passed. We came to America together in 1975. She married your grandfather. I married my Raymond. Mrs. Chen's eyes grow distant with memory. She wrote me about you. Her little plum blossom, born during spring. She said you moved like water, like you were born knowing the forms. I wrapped my hands around the teacup, needing something to hold. Why did you not say anything? When you saw me at the restaurant? Because you were hiding. I assumed you had reasons. I have been waiting for you to be ready to talk. I'm not sure I'm ready. Ready or not, Vincent Zhao knows where you are. I saw the news. So did he. Mrs. Chen's voice is gentle but firm. Running worked for 4 years, but it cannot work forever. Eventually, we all must turn and face what chases us. The tea is almost too hot, but I drink it anyway. The burn feels real. Tell me what happened, child, from the beginning. And so I do. I tell her about being 17, about my parents sitting me down and explaining my duty, about Vincent Zhao, 43 years old, wealthy beyond measure, a man who collected beautiful things and discarded them when they no longer pleased him, about the $2 million bride price, about my mother saying it was an honor, my father saying I was selfish, my grandfather being threatened with deportation if he interfered. I tell her about refusing, about Vincent deciding that if I would not agree willingly, he would keep me until I learned obedience. About 3 days locked in a room in his compound. About the guards who thought a 17-year-old girl posed no threat. I tell her about fighting my way out, about stealing $50,000 from his safe, about disappearing into the night and never looking back. Mrs. Chen listens without interrupting. When I finish, my throat is raw and my tea is cold. And your mother? She asks quietly. I laugh, but there is no humor in it. My mother said I brought it on myself, that if I had been more obedient, more traditional, more willing to honor my family, none of this would have happened. She chose $2 million over her daughter. Mrs. Chen is quiet for a long moment. Then she says something I do not expect. Your grandmother was the same with your mother. What? Cold, dutiful, traditional. Your mother only knew how to mother the way she was mothered. That does not excuse what she did. No, but it explains. Mrs. Chen refills both our cups with fresh tea. Hurt people, especially their daughters. Your mother's mother told her that daughters exist to honor family, not pursue happiness. So she told you the same. It is a wound passed down like an heirloom. I stare at her, trying to process this. You are saying my mother was a victim too? I am saying your mother was 18 when she married your father. She did not want to. She wanted to go to university, study medicine. But your grandmother said educated daughters bring shame. Too independent, too American. My mother wanted to be a doctor. I have never known this. Never imagined my mother having dreams beyond maintaining our household and managing social obligations. She was brilliant, top of her class, but she gave it up. Married your father, had you. And every dream she buried came back as resentment. Mrs. Chen's voice is sad, but not judgmental. Not toward your father or her mother. Toward you, the daughter who might escape what she could not. The realization settles over me like a weight. She sold me to Vincent because I was doing what she never could. Training with grandfather, being independent. She could not stand it, perhaps. Or perhaps she believed she was protecting you from her own path. Choosing dreams over duty. Ending up with nothing but regret. We will never know unless you ask her. I cannot face her, not after what she did. One day you will have to. Not for her, for you. Unresolved wounds with mothers become infected wounds with ourselves. I think about my mother. I have not spoken to her in 4 years. In my memory, she is cold, distant, a woman who chose money over her child. But now, overlaid on that image, is the ghost of who she might have been. A girl who wanted to heal people, who gave up her dreams because she was told that was her duty. I do not know what to do with this new understanding. It does not erase what she did, but it complicates it, makes it human. Mrs. Chen reaches across the table, covers my hand with hers. Her skin is soft, weathered, warm. Your grandmother had a saying. The bamboo that bends in the storm survives. The tree that stands rigid breaks. You have been bending for 4 years. Maybe it is time to grow roots and stand. What if I break? Then you will grow back stronger. That is what bamboo does. I am scared. Good. Fear means you are alive. Fear means you have something to lose. For 4 years, you had nothing to lose. Now you do. Mrs. Chen's eyes are knowing. That man, Ethan Sterling, he looks at you like you matter. I barely know him. You know enough. He sees you, not your usefulness. For women like us, immigrant women, women who have been owned, being seen is revolutionary. Her words settle into my chest, heavy with truth. Being seen. For 4 years, I have worked so hard to be invisible, forgettable. And in one evening, Ethan Sterling looked at me and saw past every wall I built. That terrifies me more than Vincent Zhao ever could. Across the city, in his penthouse office, Ethan cannot focus on the quarterly reports in front of him. The numbers blur together. Revenue projections, expansion timelines, shareholder expectations, none of it matters. All he can think about is 7 a.m., coffee at a diner, Sophia Lin, who is clearly running from something, agreeing to meet him. Derek enters without knocking as usual. You look like hell. I did not sleep much. Let me guess. Obsessing over the mysterious waitress. Derek's tone carries an edge Ethan has never noticed before. Or maybe he has always noticed and chosen to ignore it. Her name is Sophia. Her name is probably not Sophia. Derek drops a folder on Ethan's desk. I had our people look into her. Employment history is thin. References check out, but are minimal. No social media presence. No digital footprint before 6 months ago. She is either very private or very good at hiding. Ethan does not touch the folder. You investigated her? I investigated a potential liability. A woman with unknown background who took down 3 armed men shows up at our newest property. That raises questions. Questions you had no right to pursue without asking me first. Derek leans against the desk, arms crossed. When did you become so naive, Ethan? A beautiful mystery woman appears in your life, saves the day like some action movie hero, and you are ready to fall at her feet. Have you considered that this might be a setup? A setup for what? For exactly this. Getting close to you, getting access to your resources, your money, your life. Women like her, they know how to play men like you. Women like her. Ethan stands, something cold settling in his chest. What exactly do you mean by that? Women with secrets, women running from something. They are damaged, Ethan. High maintenance, not worth the complication. Get out of my office. Derek straightens, surprised. What? I said get out, and do not come back unless you can talk about women like they are human beings instead of assets to be evaluated. Ethan, I am trying to protect you from making a stupid decision. No. You are projecting your own cynicism onto someone you know nothing about. Sophia Lin risked her life to save our customers. She turned down my dinner invitation. She has shown absolutely zero interest in my money or status. Everything you are accusing her of is in your head, not reality. Derek's expression hardens. Fine, make your mistakes. But when this blows up in your face, do not say I did not warn you. After Derek leaves, Ethan sits in the silence of his office and wonders how he never saw it before. Derek views every relationship as transactional, every woman as a potential threat or resource. There is no warmth in him, no genuine human connection. How long have I been ignoring this? How many times have I heard him dismiss women's intelligence, question their motives, reduce them to calculations on a spreadsheet? Ethan thinks about his mother, how she would have hated Derek, how she always told young Ethan that the measure of a man is how he treats people who can do nothing for him. Sophia Lin can do nothing for me, Ethan realizes. She is a server in one of my restaurants. She has no connections, no resources, no power that benefits me. And yet, watching her comfort that elderly widow, seeing her take blame to protect another server's job, witnessing her apologize for property damage after saving 60 lives, those moments revealed more character than years of business dealings with people who want something from me. He looks at the folder Derek left. He could open it, could read whatever investigation his people compiled, could learn Sophia's secrets without her permission. Instead, he picks it up and feeds it into the shredder beside his desk. If Sophia wants him to know her past, she will tell him, in her own time, on her own terms. That is what respect looks like. The diner is exactly what I expected. Vinyl booths, tired waitress refilling coffee, the smell of bacon and cheap coffee. The kind of place where nobody looks twice at anyone, where anonymity is built into the worn linoleum and flickering fluorescent lights. Ethan arrives at 6:55, 5 minutes early. He wears jeans and a simple sweater, no suit, no watch that costs more than a car. Trying to blend in, trying not to intimidate. It almost works. He slides into the booth across from me. For a moment, neither of us speaks. The waitress brings coffee without being asked, tops off my cup from an hour of waiting, disappears again. "Thank you for coming," he says finally. "You said you wanted to talk." I do. But I realized I do not actually know what to say. He wraps his hands around his coffee cup, mirroring my own nervous gesture. Every conversation starter I thought of on the way here sounded either invasive or superficial. Despite myself, I almost smile. "So you are winging it?" "Completely." He meets my eyes, and there is something disarming in his honesty. "I am hoping you will take pity on me and guide this conversation wherever you are comfortable going." The waitress returns, order pad ready. I order pancakes, suddenly hungry. Ethan orders the same, which makes me wonder if he actually wants pancakes or if he is just following my lead, trying to build connection through small similarities. When she leaves, I make a decision. One question each, back and forth. You can pass on anything you do not want to answer, but you have to say that you are passing, no lies. "Fair," he nods. "You go first." I think about what I really want to know, not his net worth or business strategy or any of the surface things. "Why are you interested in me?" He does not answer immediately, which I appreciate. He thinks about it, really considers the question. "Because you are the first person I have met in years who made me feel something other than empty." "What do you mean empty?" "That is two questions." His smile is gentle, teasing. My turn. "Where did you learn to fight like that?" "My grandfather taught me." "In San Francisco. From the time I was 4 years old until I left at 17. "Why did you leave?" I pause. This is where I could deflect, could pass, could retreat behind my walls. But something about the way he answered my question, with raw honesty instead of practiced charm, makes me want to match his vulnerability. I was running from an arranged marriage, to a man who thought buying me gave him the right to own me. Ethan's hands tighten around his coffee cup, but his voice stays steady. "Did he hurt you?" "Yes, I am sorry." "It is not your fault." "No, but I am still sorry it happened to you." He holds my gaze. No one should have to run from their own family. The pancakes arrive, giving us both a moment to breathe. I pour syrup with careful precision, a delaying tactic, a way to compose myself. "When I was 12, my mother died." Ethan speaks into the silence, offering his own wound to match mine. Cancer. My father dealt with it by working constantly. He taught me that success equals love, that achievement equals worth. So I built an empire trying to earn something I already had before she died. "What did you have?" "Her love, unconditional, free, not tied to my grades or accomplishments or future potential, just because I was her son." He cuts into his pancakes but does not eat. "After she died, I forgot what that felt like, to be loved for who you are instead of what you can do for someone." We eat in silence for a while. The diner around us fills with early morning customers, construction workers, nurses finishing night shifts, people living ordinary lives, carrying ordinary burdens. I envy them sometimes. The simplicity of existence that does not involve running or hiding or constantly looking over your shoulder. "Tell me about him." Ethan's voice is quiet. "The man you were running from." I set down my fork. "His name is Vincent Zhao, shipping magnate, Hong Kong-based, but with operations in San Francisco, New York, Seattle. 43 years old, wealthy beyond measure. He collects beautiful things, art, cars, women. When he wants something, he buys it. When he bought me, I was 17. Ethan's jaw tightens, but he stays silent, letting me tell this at my own pace. "My parents arranged it. $2 million bride price. They told me it was an honor, that Vincent was a good match, that I should be grateful." I tell him about my mother's expectations, my father's disappointment in my resistance, my grandfather's quiet support that he could not act on without risking deportation. I tell him about Vincent's compound, about being locked in a room for 3 days, about the guards who underestimated me, about fighting my way out and stealing $50,000 and disappearing into the night. I've been running for 4 years. New city every 18 months, new name, new identity, new life. It worked until 3 nights ago when I made the mistake of being visible. Ethan is quiet for a long moment. Then, have you gone to the police? With what evidence? Arranged marriages are not illegal if both parties appear to consent. And my parents would swear I was mentally unstable, that I ran away from a loving home and a generous suitor. Vincent has lawyers, politicians, judges on his payroll. I am a Chinese-American woman with no money, no connections, no proof of crimes that were carefully constructed to appear legal. What about your grandfather? Would he testify? Vincent threatened to have him deported if he interfered. My grandfather is 78 years old. Deportation to China at his age, with his health, he would not survive it. Ethan's expression is carefully controlled, but I can see rage building behind his eyes. Controlled fury at a system that allows men like Vincent to operate with impunity, at families who sell their daughters, at my own helplessness in the face of institutional power. I do not want his rage. I do not need another person angry on my behalf. What I need is for someone to understand why I have been running, why I cannot just stand and fight, why survival sometimes means surrender. 2 years ago, I was in Chicago. I tell him the story I have never told anyone. Working as a bartender under the name Maya Anderson, I met someone, a lawyer named Michael Chen. He was kind. He wanted to help. He said he could protect me from Vincent, build a legal case, expose the corruption. What happened? 2 weeks later, they pulled his body from Lake Michigan. Police ruled it suicide. It was not. I looked directly at Ethan, needing him to understand this. Vincent does not just want me back. He wants everyone who helps me to suffer. It is how he maintains control. Through fear, through consequences. Ethan reaches across the table, stops just short of touching my hand. A question asked through proximity. I nod, barely, and he covers my hand with his. His palm is warm, calloused in a way that surprises me. Not the soft hands of someone who only signs papers. I'm not Michael Chen, I know. I have resources he did not have, legal teams, security, political connections of my own. I know that too. But Vincent has been doing this for 20 years. He has refined his methods. He knows how to make problems disappear, how to make deaths look like accidents or suicides, how to ruin people financially, legally, socially. He is patient and thorough and absolutely relentless. Then we make being relentless more expensive than letting you go. I pull my hand back, needing the distance to think clearly. How? I do not know yet, but I will figure it out if you let me. Why? The question comes out sharper than I intend. Why risk everything for someone you barely know? Because knowing you these past 3 days has been more meaningful than the last 3 years of my life. His honesty is almost painful. Because you make me want to be someone worthy of your trust. Because letting you run again when I might be able to help feels like the greatest failure I could commit. People I care about end up hurt. Or dead. I need him to understand this. I cannot watch that happen again. Sophia. That is not even my real name. I do not care. He leans forward, his voice intense but not aggressive. I do not care what name you use. I care about who you are. The woman who comforts widows and protects coworkers and apologizes for property damage after saving lives. That woman deserves safety, deserves a future, deserves someone willing to stand beside her instead of another person she has to protect by staying away from them. His words hit something deep inside me, some place that has been frozen for 4 years. The desire to be known, to be seen, to matter to someone. 24 hours. The words come out before I can stop them. Do not contact me. Do not follow me. Do not investigate. Give me 24 hours to think, to decide if I am brave enough to stay or smart enough to run. And if you run, then you forget me, live your life, build your empire, find someone safer to care about. That is not an option. It has to be. We sit in silence, The diner continues around us, people living their ordinary lives, unaware that at this worn table, two people are negotiating the possibility of hope against a lifetime of fear. Finally, Ethan nods. 24 hours. But Sophia, I need you to understand something. What? If you do run, I will respect your choice. I will not follow. I will not investigate. I will let you disappear. But I will never forget you. And I will never stop hoping that one day you will feel safe enough to stop running. The drive back to my apartment feels longer than it should. Ethan insisted, would not let me take the subway alone after I told him about Vincent. I did not have the energy to argue. We do not talk much. The conversation at the diner drained something from both of us. Vulnerability is exhausting. When we reach my building, I turn to him. Thank you for listening, for not trying to fix me or make it about yourself. Thank you for trusting me enough to tell me. I am not sure I do trust you. The honesty feels necessary. But I want to. That is new for me. I will take want to as a start. I climb out of the car, then pause. Ethan? Yes? Why have you never married? A man like you, successful, attractive, kind. He almost laughs. You think I'm kind? You listen to me talk about my trauma without trying to fix me or dismiss it or make it about yourself. Yes, I think you are kind. I have dated models, actresses, businesswomen. All beautiful, all intelligent, all completely uninterested in me as a person. He meets my eyes in the rearview mirror. They wanted access to wealth, connections, status. None of them ever asked me what I dreamed about before I became this, or if I was happy. Are you happy? His answer comes soft but certain. I'm starting to think I could be. I go upstairs to my apartment, stand at the window and watch his car pull away. My phone is heavy in my pocket. I know what I will find when I check it. Sure enough, 3 missed calls from an unknown number, 1 voicemail. I almost do not listen to it. Almost delete it unheard. But I need to know what I'm dealing with. Vincent's voice fills my apartment. Smooth, cultured, absolutely cold. Lin Mei, I hope you enjoyed your coffee date with Mr. Sterling. He seems like a kind man. It would be unfortunate if something happened to him because of your continued stubbornness. I am sending representatives to New York. They will contact you tomorrow to arrange a meeting. I suggest you agree. The alternative would be unpleasant for everyone involved, starting with your new friend. I sit on the edge of my bed, phone in hand, staring at nothing. This is what I knew would happen. This is why I should have run. Why I should have packed my bag the moment Vincent left that first voicemail. Why getting close to anyone is dangerous. But I am so tired of running. Mrs. Chen's words surface in my memory. Maybe it is time to grow roots and stand. Ethan's promise echoes. We make being relentless more expensive than letting you go. My grandfather's teaching from childhood. The bamboo that bends in the storm survives, but the bamboo with deep roots cannot be uprooted. I look at the emergency bag in my closet. Everything I need to disappear, to start over, to survive. Then I look at my phone, at Ethan's last message. 24 hours. Whatever you decide, I respect your choice. For 4 years, I have made the smart choice. The safe choice. The choice that keeps me alive, but not living. Maybe it is time to make a different choice. I text Mrs. Chen. Vincent called. His people are coming tomorrow. I am staying. What do I do? Her response comes immediately. You stop running. You let people help you. You remember that you are your grandmother's granddaughter. And we do not surrender to men who think they can own us. Then she sends another text. Come to my apartment tomorrow morning. There are things I need to tell you about your grandmother. About the women who came before you. You need to know where you come from to understand where you can go. I text Ethan next. Coffee tomorrow morning was good. Same time tomorrow? I might need to talk more. His response is almost instant. I will be there. I do not text my parents. I am not ready for that. May never be ready. But Mrs. Chen's revelation about my mother wanting to be a doctor, about her own dreams being crushed by duty and tradition, has complicated my anger, made it harder to hold on to the simple narrative of betrayal. My mother chose money over me, that is true. But my mother also had her dreams taken from her, was told her entire life that daughters exist to honor family, not pursue happiness. That is also true. So, both things can be true. Wounds can be passed down like heirlooms. Hurt people hurt people. Understanding this does not mean forgiving, but it means seeing her as human, flawed, complicated, a woman who made terrible choices born from her own pain. Maybe someday I will be able to tell her that. Maybe someday we will have a conversation about mothers and daughters and the weight of expectations we place on each other. But not today. Today, I make a different choice. I pull the emergency bag from the closet, look at it for a long moment. 4 years of preparation, 4 years of being ready to run. Then I take it and empty it, put the cash in my regular account, shred the fake IDs, throw away the burner phones. If I am choosing to stay, I am choosing all the way. No backup plan, no escape route. Just faith that maybe this time, standing still is the bravest thing I can do. Outside my window, the city moves through its evening rhythm. Lights coming on in apartments, people returning home from work, the ordinary magic of people living lives, building futures, making choices. I want that. I want ordinary. I want a life that is more than survival. And for the first time in 4 years, 7 months, and 13 days, I let myself believe it might be possible. My name is Lin Mei, beautiful plum blossom, born during spring. Winter has been long, but the spring is coming. And this time, I am not running away from it. Monday morning arrives with the weight of decisions made. I destroyed my emergency bag. I chose to stay. Now I must live with the consequences of that choice, whatever they may be. The restaurant feels different today, or perhaps I am different. For 6 months, I moved through Le Bernardin like a ghost, present but not participating, working but not belonging. Today, I notice things I trained myself to ignore. The way Maria, the young server I protected, smiles when she sees me. The way Chef Antoine nods in approval when I confirm the evening's reservations. The way Mrs. Chen watches me from the kitchen entrance, her expression both proud and worried. I am no longer invisible. That realization settles over me like a physical weight. At 2 in the afternoon, everything changes. Chef Antoine appears in the dining room, his usually composed face tight with tension. "Sophia, I need to speak with you privately." The walk to his office feels longer than it should. My training screams warnings, assess exits, calculate distances, prepare for threats. But this is Chef Antoine, kind and fair, not a danger. Until he tells me what has happened. Immigration Services received an anonymous tip this morning. His voice is careful, measured. They are investigating your employment documentation. They want to see your I-9, your Social Security verification, background checks, everything. The floor seems to shift beneath my feet. Who would report me? The tip was anonymous. But, Sophia, if there is anything irregular about your documentation, anything at all, you need to tell me now so we can prepare. My documentation is legitimate. The words come automatically. But we both know what legitimate means in my case. Real Social Security number, real name, but a past that cannot survive deep scrutiny. Papers created by people who help women like me disappear from dangerous situations. Chef Antoine's expression tells me he understands more than I thought. How much trouble are you in? More than I can explain. More than you should be involved in. Does this have anything to do with Mr. Sterling's recent interest in you? The question catches me off guard. Why would you think that? Because powerful men attract enemies, and enemies use whatever weapons they can find. He leans back in his chair, thinking. Mr. Sterling has been to this restaurant 5 times in the past week. His business partner, Derek Morrison, called me yesterday asking questions about you. Derek Morrison. The name triggers something in my memory. Ethan's partner. The man who investigated my background without permission. The man who views everything as transactional. What kind of questions? How long you have worked here, your performance, your background, whether you and Mr. Sterling have a personal relationship. And what did you tell him? That your work is exemplary and your personal life is none of his business. Chef Antoine's voice carries an edge I have never heard before, but I think you should know that Mr. Morrison did not seem satisfied with that answer. I think about Derek's folder, the one Ethan mentioned destroying. I think about Vincent's voicemail, his threat against Ethan specifically. I think about how convenient it would be for someone to use immigration investigation to force me out, to make me run again, to remove me as a distraction from Ethan's business. Connections form in my mind, ugly and inevitable. Someone wants me gone, someone with resources and motivation, someone close enough to Ethan to know about me, but distant enough to not care about collateral damage. Derek Morrison, I need to leave. The words come out flat, defeated. If immigration is investigating, if this becomes an issue for the restaurant, I should resign now before it affects you. Absolutely not. Chef Antoine stands, his voice firm. You have done nothing wrong. Someone is targeting you, and I will not let them win by forcing you out without a fight. Mr. Sterling has excellent lawyers. We will handle this properly. But I already know how this ends. Vincent Zhao does not make threats without following through. Derek Morrison, if he is involved, would not move without expecting results. The investigation is not the point. The point is pressure, fear, forcing me into a position where running seems like the only option. And if I run, Vincent wins. Derek wins. Everyone who wants me erased from Ethan's life wins. I thank Chef Antoine and return to my section. Move through the rest of my shift on autopilot. Smile at customers. Refill wine glasses. Pretend that my entire existence is not being dismantled by anonymous tips and government agencies. When my shift ends, I do not go home immediately. Instead, I walk through Manhattan, across the bridge into Queens, letting my feet carry me while my mind races through options that all end badly. I could run, new city, new name, new life. I have done it before, I could do it again. But the thought of packing another emergency bag, of saying another name that is not mine, of starting over in a place where no one knows me and I know no one, feels like death, slow suffocation of the soul. I have tasted the possibility of staying, of being known, of mattering to people. Going back to invisibility now would be unbearable. My phone rings. Unknown number. I almost do not answer, but something makes me pick up. Ms. Lin? A woman's voice, professional and cold. This is Agent Sarah Chen with Immigration and Customs Enforcement. We need to schedule a meeting to discuss your employment authorization documentation. Of course, when? Tomorrow morning, 9 a.m. Federal Building downtown. Bring all original documents. Passport, social security card, birth certificate, any previous employment verification. I will be there. Ms. Lin. I should inform you that failure to appear will result in a warrant being issued for your arrest. I understand. After she hangs up, I stand on a street corner in Queens, watching the sunset over the city, and feel the walls closing in. Across the city, in Sterling Hospitality's executive offices, Ethan is in a board meeting when his assistant interrupts. A text message marked urgent. He glances at his phone. From Chef Antoine. Immigration investigating Sophia. Anonymous tip. She is being called in tomorrow morning. Thought you should know. Ethan's hand tightens around his phone. Around the conference table, board members drone on about quarterly projections and expansion timelines. Their voices fade to background noise. Derek sits across from him taking notes, his expression neutral and professional. Too neutral. Too professional. Ethan watches his business partner and sees, perhaps for the first time with clear eyes, what has always been there. The calculation, the lack of genuine empathy, the view of people as obstacles or assets. Did you do this? The question cuts through the board presentation. The room goes silent. Derek looks up, surprised. Do what? Call in an immigration investigation on Sophia Lin. Derek's expression does not change, but something flickers in his eyes. Calculation, decision, then careful confusion. I do not know what you are talking about. Who? Ethan stands. Board members shift uncomfortably. This meeting is over. Everyone out except Derek. The room empties quickly. Executives know when to disappear. When the door closes behind the last board member, Ethan turns to face his partner of 8 years. Tell me the truth. Did you report Sophia to immigration? Derek sets down his pen with deliberate care. Even if I did, which I am not confirming, it would be to protect our business interests. That woman is a distraction you cannot afford right now. She is a person. Not a distraction, not an obstacle, a person. A person with a mysterious background, fake employment history, and dangerous skills. Derek's voice stays level, reasonable. A person who is pulling your attention away from a $40 million expansion deal. A person who, if she has immigration issues, could create liability for Sterling Hospitality. So you decided to have her investigated without consulting me. I decided to protect what we built together. Derek stands, facing Ethan across the conference table. You are thinking with your heart instead of your head. That is dangerous in business. This is not business. This is you making decisions about another person's life without their consent or mine. I am your partner. I do not need your consent to protect our interests. She is not our interest to control. Ethan's voice drops, becomes deadly quiet. And you are not my partner anymore. You just became my enemy. Derek's expression finally cracks. Shock, then anger, then something colder. You are going to destroy everything we built over a waitress you met a week ago. I am going to destroy a partnership with someone who thinks human beings are acceptable collateral damage for profit margins. Fine. Derek gathers his papers with sharp, angry movements. Make your choice, her or the expansion, her or $40 million, her or everything you built your entire life to achieve. I choose her. The words surprise Ethan as much as they surprise Derek. But once said, they feel absolutely true. More true than any business decision he has ever made. You are a fool. Derek heads for the door, then turns back. And when Vincent Zhao comes for her, when this whole thing blows up in your face, do not say I did not warn you. The name stops Ethan cold. How do you know about Vincent Zhao? Derek's smile is thin, cruel, because I am the one who told him where to find her. The admission hangs in the air between them. Ethan feels something break inside him. Some last remaining illusion about friendship or loyalty or shared history. Get out. When Derek does not move, Ethan's voice rises. Get out of my building. You have 24 hours to remove yourself from this company. After that, security will escort you out, and lawyers will handle your severance. This is a mistake you will regret. The only mistake I regret is trusting you for as long as I did. After Derek leaves, Ethan stands alone in the conference room and makes a series of phone calls to his lawyers, to his security team, to Detective Martinez, who handled the restaurant robbery case, and finally to Sophia. She does not answer. He leaves a message. Sophia, I know about the immigration investigation. I know Derek was behind it. I am handling it. Please call me back. Then he waits and waits. By midnight, she still has not called. I do not go home after my shift. Home feels like a trap, walls closing in, nowhere to run. Instead, I go to the one place that has always felt safe, Mrs. Chen's apartment above the herbal medicine shop. She opens the door before I can knock, as if she was expecting me. Inside, the kitchen table is set for two. Tea already steeping. She knows. Sit, child. Tell me what happened. I tell her about the immigration investigation, about Derek Morrison's questions, about the federal appointment tomorrow morning, about the growing certainty that staying was a mistake, that I should have run when I had the chance. Mrs. Chen listens without interrupting. When I finish, she pours tea with steady hands. Your grandmother faced something similar, she says quietly. When she first came to America in 1975, there were people who wanted to send her back, who questioned her papers, her right to be here, her very existence. What did she do? She stood her ground, hired a lawyer, fought back, because running teaches you to be fast, but standing teaches you to be strong. I do not feel strong, I feel terrified. Good. Mrs. Chen's smile is sad, but certain. Courage is not the absence of fear. Courage is being terrified and standing anyway. We drink our tea in silence. Outside, the city moves through its late-night rhythms, delivery trucks, taxis, the endless motion of a place that never sleeps. What if they deport me? The question I have not let myself ask until now. Then you will have tried. You will have stood. You will not spend the rest of your life wondering what might have happened if you had been brave enough to stay. She is right, and I hate that she is right, because it would be so much easier to run, to pack a bag and disappear into the night and start over somewhere else, to return to the familiar comfort of invisibility. But I destroyed my emergency bag. I chose this. I chose to stay, to root, to let people know me. Now I have to live with that choice. I leave Mrs. Chen's apartment near dawn, walk through Chinatown as the neighborhood wakes up. Shop owners opening metal gates, vendors arranging produce, the smell of steamed buns and fresh fish, life continuing, ordinary and beautiful. I should go home, should sleep before my immigration appointment. But my feet carry me elsewhere, to a small park near the East River where I used to practice forms when I first arrived in New York. The park is empty this early. I find my usual spot beneath a willow tree and begin to move. The forms my grandfather taught me are meditation in motion. Each movement precise, intentional, a conversation between breath and body. I have not practiced in weeks, too afraid that someone might see, might recognize the style, might connect me to my past. But this morning, I do not care. I move through the form slowly at first, then faster, letting muscle memory guide me. Kick, block, strike. The familiar patterns that my body knows better than my mind. This is who I am underneath all the names and fear. Lin Mei, granddaughter of Master Chen Wei, carrier of 13 years of training. I do not hear him approach. Do not sense his presence until he speaks. That is beautiful. I spin, dropping into defensive stance before I recognize him. Ethan stands at the edge of the practice area, hands in his pockets, expression careful. I did not mean to startle you. Chef Antoine told me you sometimes come here. You should not have followed me. I know, but you did not answer my calls. I was worried. I am fine. The lie sounds hollow even to my own ears. You are not fine. You are being investigated by immigration because my business partner decided you were a threat to his profit margins. I lower my guard, fatigue suddenly overwhelming. How much do you know? Everything. Derek admitted he contacted Vincent Zhao, told him where to find you, called in the immigration tip to pressure you into running. Ethan's voice is controlled, but beneath it I hear rage carefully leashed. He views you as an obstacle to our expansion deal, so he tried to remove you. The confirmation of what I suspected still hits like a physical blow. Why are you telling me this? Because you deserve to know who your enemies are, and because I want you to know that Derek is no longer my partner. I fired him last night. You what? I ended our partnership. Effective immediately. He gets severance, but he is out of the company. Ethan, that is an 8-year partnership. You built this together. No. I built something with someone I thought shared my values. But Derek views people as assets or liabilities. He sold you out without hesitation. That is not someone I can work with. I stare at him trying to process this. You fired your business partner. Over me. I fired my business partner because he contacted a known criminal to harm an innocent woman. The fact that it was you just made it personal. What about the expansion, the $40 million deal? If it requires working with Derek or compromising my values, it can die. The simplicity of his answer, the absolute certainty, does something to the walls I built around my heart, cracks them just a little more. I do not know what to say. You do not have to say anything. Ethan takes a step closer, still careful not to crowd me. I came to tell you that I hired a lawyer, immigration specialist. She will meet you at the federal building this morning. You will not face this alone. I cannot let you do that. Too late. It is already done. Ethan. Sophia. He meets my eyes, his expression open, honest. I know you are used to handling everything alone. I know trusting people has gotten you hurt before. But I am asking you to let me help. Not because I think you cannot do this yourself, but because you should not have to. The words break something inside me, some last defense. I have been alone for so long that the offer of partnership feels almost painful. Why? The question comes out smaller than I intend. Why do all this for me? Because you matter. Because what Derek did is wrong. Because standing by and letting powerful people harm innocent people makes me complicit. He pauses, then adds more softly, and because I care about you. More than I have cared about anyone in a very long time. I could run. Tomorrow, tonight, this moment. Could disappear before the immigration appointment, before Vincent's people find me, before this fragile connection with Ethan becomes something I cannot walk away from. But I'm so tired of running. Okay, the word feels like surrender and victory at the same time. Okay? I will let your lawyer help me. I will face this. But Ethan, you need to understand that Vincent Zhao is not going to stop. Derek calling him, the immigration investigation. These are just opening moves. It will get worse before it gets better. Then we will handle worse when it comes. His certainty should annoy me, this wealthy man who thinks money and lawyers can solve everything. But instead, it feels like solid ground beneath my feet. Like maybe I do not have to carry this alone. The sun rises over the East River, painting the sky in shades of gold and pink. A new day, a new choice. I begin to practice my forms again, slower this time, letting Ethan watch. Letting myself be seen doing the thing that defines me more than any name or job or history. He does not speak, just watches with quiet attention. And for the first time in 4 years, performing these movements does not feel like remembering a ghost. It feels like reclaiming something I thought I had lost. When I finish, he says, "Your grandfather must have been an extraordinary teacher." He was, I correct myself, he is still alive, still teaching in San Francisco. Do you talk to him? No. It is not safe. Vincent threatened him to keep me compliant. If I contact him, if Vincent knows I care about him, he becomes a target. After this is over, Ethan says quietly, "You should call him. Life is too short to stay away from the people we love out of fear." He is right, but fear has kept me alive for 4 years. Fear has kept the people I love safe. Letting go of fear means accepting vulnerability, and vulnerability means risk. We leave the park as the city fully wakes. Ethan insists on buying me breakfast. I insist on paying my own way. We compromise by splitting the check, a small gesture toward partnership, toward equality. In the diner, over eggs and coffee, Ethan tells me about Derek, about their 8-year partnership, about the slow realization that Derek views people as transactions rather than humans. I should have seen it sooner. The way he talked about women, the way he made every decision based on profit rather than principle. But he was useful, and I told myself that business and personal values did not have to align. Now you know better. Now I know that who you do business with reflects who you are. And I do not want to be someone who tolerates that kind of moral emptiness. What will happen to your expansion? Honestly, I do not know. The deal was contingent on Derek's relationships with certain investors. Without him, it might collapse. But I would rather build something smaller with integrity than something massive with moral compromise. I think about my mother, about the compromises she made, dreams abandoned for duty, daughters sold for money, a lifetime of choosing what she thought was practical over what was right. I do not want to become that, someone who justifies terrible choices with reasonable explanations. Neither do I. Ethan meets my eyes across the table. Which is why, whatever happens with Vincent Zhao, with immigration, with any of this, I will not compromise your safety or autonomy to make it easier. You get to decide what happens. You get to choose your path. I am just here to make sure you have actual choices instead of only bad options. The words settle into my chest, warm and heavy. This is what partnership looks like. Not rescue, not control, just presence, support, belief that I am capable of making my own decisions if given actual options. Thank you, it feels inadequate, but it is all I have. Do not thank me yet. We still have to get through the immigration meeting. He is right, but for the first time I feel like maybe I can. Not alone, but with help. With someone standing beside me instead of in front of me. We finish breakfast. Ethan drives me home so I can change clothes, gather documents. He waits in the car, respecting my space while still being present. When I come back down, dressed in my most professional clothes, he looks at me and says, "You are going to be okay." I want to believe him. The federal building is gray concrete and institutional authority. We meet the lawyer in the lobby. Her name is Jennifer Martinez, no relation to the detective. She is 40-something, sharp-eyed, with a reputation for winning impossible cases. She reviews my documents quickly, efficiently, then looks up at me with an expression I cannot quite read. Your papers are legitimate, but they will not survive deep investigation. You know that. Yes. So we need to get ahead of this. File for proper status before they dig deeper. There are provisions for victims of human trafficking, forced marriage, domestic violence. We can build a case. That will require going public, naming Vincent Zhao, exposing everything. Yes, he will retaliate. Probably. She does not soften the truth. But you are already a target. At least this way, you are a target with legal protection and public documentation. Harder to make you disappear when there is a paper trail. Ethan sits beside me silent, letting me make this decision. I think about 4 years of running, 4 years of silence, 4 years of letting Vincent Zhao control my life through fear. I think about my grandfather's teaching. The bamboo that bends survives, but the bamboo with roots cannot be uprooted. File the paperwork. My voice is steadier than I feel. Whatever happens, at least I will have tried. Jennifer Martinez smiles, small and fierce. Good, then let us make Vincent Zhao's life very expensive and very complicated. The immigration meeting goes better than expected. With Jennifer present, the agent is professional, procedural. They take my statement, copy my documents, schedule a follow-up. No arrest, no deportation. Just bureaucracy, which feels like victory. Afterward, Ethan takes me to lunch. We do not talk about immigration or Vincent or Derek. Instead, we talk about books, about music, about the way he grew up in Connecticut boarding schools, and I grew up in San Francisco's Chinatown, two completely different Americas. He makes me laugh, telling stories about his terrible cooking attempts, his worst attempts at meditation, his general incompetence at anything that does not involve business strategy. I tell him about my grandfather's dojo, about the discipline and philosophy woven into every lesson, about learning that Kung Fu is not about violence, but about understanding yourself and the world around you. For a few hours, We are just two people getting to know each other, not running from danger, not facing threats, just existing in the same space, building something fragile and real. When he drops me at my apartment, he says, "Call me if you need anything. Anything at all. I mean it." I will. I watch him drive away. Then I go upstairs to my empty apartment and allow myself to feel hope. Dangerous, terrifying hope. The text message comes at 11 that night. Unknown number. I stare at it for a long moment before opening it. Lin Mei. You made an interesting choice today. Lawyers, public statements, exposure. Very brave. Also very foolish. Since you will not come willingly, I suppose I will have to motivate you differently. Your friend Mr. Sterling seems like a good starting point. Then a second message, an address in Queens, and a time, 11:30 p.m. Vincent's people want a meeting, want me to come alone, want me scared. I could call Ethan, could call the police, could call Jennifer Martinez and let the legal system handle this. But if Vincent wants to talk, if there is any chance to end this without more people getting hurt, I need to take it. I grab my jacket, check the time, 11:15, just enough time to make the meeting if I hurry, just enough time to make a terrible mistake. I do not realize how terrible until I arrive at the address and see not a neutral meeting place, but an abandoned warehouse. Not Vincent's representatives, but 4 men waiting in the shadows. Not a negotiation, but a trap. By the time I understand, it is too late to run. The warehouse smells like old concrete and rust. 4 men emerge from the shadows, moving with the practiced coordination of people who have done this before. They do not rush, do not need to. They have me cornered, and they know it. I drop into fighting stance, calculating odds that are not in my favor. 4 against 1. Professionals, not the panicked amateurs from the restaurant robbery. They spread out, cutting off escape routes, forcing me into the center of the space. The leader steps forward. He is older than the others, 40-something, with the kind of calm that comes from experience. Lin Mei Chen, Mr. Zhao sends his regards. Tell him I am not interested in his regards. That is unfortunate. He gestures to his men, because he is very interested in you. They move as one. I take down the first man with a spinning kick that connects with his temple. He drops, but the second is already on me, grabbing my arm, twisting. I use his momentum, throw him over my hip. He crashes into the third man. The leader watches, not intervening, evaluating. I am good. 13 years of training good. But they are 4, and I am 1, and they do not need to defeat me. They just need to tire me out. The fight lasts 3 minutes. Feels like hours. I land solid hits, break the second man's nose, dislocate the third man's shoulder. But the fourth man finally gets behind me, locks my arms. The leader steps in with a punch that catches my ribs. I hear something crack. The pain is sharp, immediate. I try to break free, but the man holding me is strong, trained. The leader hits me again, same spot. I taste blood. Stop fighting, Lin Mei. This does not have to be difficult. Mr. Zhao simply wants to talk. Another punch, my vision blurs. Come willingly, and this ends now. Continue to resist, and we make examples of the people you care about. Starting with Ethan Sterling. The mention of Ethan's name triggers something. Rage, fear, desperation. I throw my head back, connect with my captor's face, feel his grip loosen, spin free. But I am hurt now, slow. The leader's next punch catches me across the face. I go down. From the ground, I see his boot coming. Try to roll away, too slow. The kick catches my ribs, same spot. I hear more cracking, feel something in my chest shift wrong. Last chance, Lin Mei. Come with us now, or we hurt you worse, and then go after Sterling anyway. Through the pain, through the fear, I manage one word, no. He shrugs. As you wish. The next few minutes are measured in pain. They are careful, professional, hurting me just enough to send a message, not enough to kill. This is not revenge. This is demonstration. Proof of what Vincent Zhao can do. Proof of what happens when people defy him. When they finally stop, I am barely conscious. The leader kneels beside me, places a photograph on the ground next to my face. It is a picture of Ethan, leaving his office building, circled in red. 24 hours, Lin Mei. You have 24 hours to contact Mr. Zhao and arrange your return. If you do not, the next beating will not be yours. They leave. Their footsteps echo in the empty warehouse. Then silence. I try to move. Pain shoots through my chest. broken ribs, at least 3. My face feels swollen, one eye already closing. Blood in my mouth from a split lip or bitten tongue. My phone is still in my jacket pocket. Miracle they did not take it. I pull it out with shaking hands. The screen is cracked, but functional. I should call 911, should call the police, should call Ethan. But Vincent's men are probably watching, waiting to see what I do. If I call Ethan, if he comes here, he becomes a target. Immediate and visible. I force myself to move. Every breath agony. Crawl toward the warehouse exit. Need to get somewhere public, somewhere safe. Somewhere they cannot take me without witnesses. The street outside is empty. Industrial area. No pedestrians this late. I lean against the building, trying to breathe through the pain, trying to think. My phone rings. Ethan! I stare at it. If I answer, he will hear the pain in my voice. Will come running. Will put himself directly in Vincent's crosshairs. If I do not answer, he will worry. Will try to find me. Same result. Just slower. No good options. Only bad choices and worse ones. I answer. Try to keep my voice steady. Hello? Sophia, thank God. I have been calling for an hour. Are you okay? I am fine. The lie costs me. Speaking hurts. You do not sound fine. Where are you? Home. Just tired. The immigration meeting was stressful. Sophia. His voice drops, becomes gentle. Talk to me. What happened? I want to tell him. Want to surrender to the comfort of letting someone else carry this. But I have learned that the people I love become targets. That closeness equals danger. I need to sleep. Can we talk tomorrow? Long pause. Then I am coming over. No, please. I just need rest. Another pause. Longer this time. Okay. But Sophia, if something is wrong, if you are in trouble, please tell me. You do not have to do this alone. I know. I will call you tomorrow. After we hang up, I let myself cry. Not from the pain, though the pain is significant. From the exhaustion of carrying this alone. From the weight of 4 years spent protecting everyone, by staying away from everyone. I managed to stand, stumble to the corner, flag down a taxi, give the driver an address in Chinatown. Mrs. Chen opens her door, takes one look at me, and pulls me inside without a word. She settles me on her couch, brings warm water and clean cloths, tends my injuries with gentle efficiency. You went to meet them alone, not a question. A statement of fact. I thought I could handle it. Child, you are strong. But strength is not the same as invincibility. She cleans blood from my face with careful hands. Why did you not call for help? Because everyone who helps me gets hurt. So you let yourself get hurt instead? I do not have an answer for that. Mrs. Chen finishes cleaning my wounds, brings me tea I can barely swallow, covers me with a blanket. You cannot do this alone anymore, Lin Mei. This thing with Vincent Zhao, it is bigger than one person can carry. I know. Then let people help. Let Mr. Sterling help. Let the lawyer help. Let me help. He threatened Ethan. Put his picture on the ground next to me. Said if I do not go back to Vincent in 24 hours, Ethan is next. Then we have 24 hours to find another way. Mrs. Chen sits beside me, her presence solid and reassuring. Your grandmother used to say that the hardest battles are won not with fists, but with wisdom. What does Vincent Zhao want? Me, his property, his face restored. And what does he fear? I have never thought about what Vincent fears. Men like him, powerful and wealthy and untouchable, what do they have to fear? Public exposure, legal consequences, loss of reputation. Mrs. Chen nods slowly. Then perhaps the answer is not to hide from him, but to make hiding him impossible. I do not understand. Tomorrow, you call your Mr. Sterling. You tell him what happened. You let him help. And together, you make Vincent Zhao's life so expensive and so public that leaving you alone becomes easier than pursuing you. It sounds simple when she says it, but I know Vincent. Know his pride. Know that men like him do not back down easily. Still, what other choice do I have? Running has not worked. Hiding has not worked. Fighting alone has not worked. Maybe it is time to try something different. Ethan knows something is wrong the moment I call him the next morning. My voice is rough from pain, from crying, from exhaustion. I need to see you. Can you come to Mrs. Chen's apartment in Chinatown? I'm already in my car. He arrives 30 minutes later, takes one look at my face and goes absolutely still. That particular kind of stillness that comes before violence. Who did this? Vincent's people. Last night, they wanted to send a message. What message? That I have 24 hours to contact Vincent and arrange my return. Or you are next. Ethan's hands clench into fists, then deliberately relax. He sits beside me on Mrs. Chen's couch, careful not to jostle me. Tell me everything. So I do. The text message, the warehouse, the 4 men, the beating, the photograph of him circled in red. When I finish, he is quiet for a long time. When he finally speaks, his voice is absolutely controlled. We are going to the hospital. You need x-rays. Then we are going to the police. Then we are going to end this. I have been to the police before. They cannot help without evidence, without proof. Vincent is too careful. Then we get proof. Ethan pulls out his phone, starts making calls, first to Jennifer Martinez, then to a private investigator, then to someone he calls Robert, who apparently specializes in cases involving organized crime. I watch him work, making calls, giving instructions, building a plan. This is what he does. Solves problems, creates solutions, refuses to accept that some things cannot be fixed. Part of me wants to stop him, to tell him it is useless, that Vincent Zhao has been doing this for 20 years and knows every loophole, every weakness in the system. But another part of me, the part that chose to stay, the part that destroyed my emergency bag, wants to believe that maybe, with help, with resources, with people standing beside me instead of me standing alone, maybe things can be different. The hospital confirms what I already know. 3 broken ribs, facial contusions, soft tissue damage. They want to keep me overnight for observation. I refuse. Cannot afford to be trapped in one place when Vincent's deadline is ticking. Detective Martinez meets us there, takes my statement, photographs my injuries, promises to investigate but makes no guarantees. Without witnesses, without evidence beyond my injuries, building a case against Vincent will be difficult. After she leaves, Ethan sits beside my hospital bed. We need to talk about strategy. What kind of strategy? Legal, financial, whatever it takes to make Vincent stop. You cannot negotiate with men like Vincent. They do not stop. They do not compromise. They only take. Everyone can be negotiated with if you find the right leverage. Ethan's voice is calm, certain. What does Vincent want more than he wants you? Nothing. His pride demands I come back. I embarrassed him, made him look weak. In his world, that is unforgivable. What about money? He has money. What about reputation? What about legal exposure? What about making his life so complicated and expensive that letting you go becomes the easier option? I think about this. Vincent operates in legal gray areas, legitimate businesses fronting for less legitimate activities. He maintains respectability through careful management of his public image. If we expose him, if we go public with what he did, it costs him that respectability. Ethan nods. We build a case, document everything, the forced marriage, the kidnapping, the years of pursuit. We make it public, file lawsuits, get media attention, turn you from a private target into a public victim. He cannot make you disappear quietly if everyone is watching. That will take time we do not have. His deadline is 24 hours. Then we buy time. Ethan stands, starts pacing. We need something immediate, something that makes him pause long enough for the legal strategy to work. Mrs. Chen, who has been sitting quietly in the corner, speaks up. In traditional Chinese culture, there are rules about contracts, about honor, about face. Perhaps you fight him using his own traditions. What do you mean? Bride price contracts can be disputed if the bride's family acted in bad faith, if they took money under false pretenses, if they promised a willing bride and delivered one who was coerced. Ethan stops pacing. You are saying we sue her parents. I am saying you give Vincent a choice. Pursue Lin Mei and get nothing but legal problems and public exposure. Or pursue her parents for breach of contract and recover his money with interest, plus save face by positioning himself as the wronged party. The idea settles over the room. Elegant, using Chinese tradition against Vincent, giving him a way out that restores his reputation while freeing me. How much money are we talking about? Ethan asks. 2 million bride price, with 4 years of interest and traditional penalties for breach of contract, maybe 8 million. I will pay it. I stare at Ethan. You cannot. I can, and I will. $8 million to end this. To free you from Vincent permanently. To make sure you are safe, that is not a cost. That is an investment in something that actually matters. That is insane. You have known me less than 2 weeks. I have known you long enough to know that you are worth protecting. That what Vincent did to you was wrong. That standing by and doing nothing because it is expensive or complicated makes me complicit. He meets my eyes. This is not about saving you. You have been saving yourself for 4 years. This is about giving you an actual choice instead of only terrible options. The words hit me hard because he is right. I have been surviving, running, protecting myself through isolation, but I have not had choices, not real ones. What if it does not work? What if Vincent takes the money and still comes after me? Then we will have documented proof of attempted extortion, and we use that to destroy him legally. But here is what you need to understand, Sophia. This settlement is a civil matter, a contract dispute that resolves your immediate situation. But Vincent's actions, kidnapping you at 17, trafficking women, threats and violence, those are separate criminal matters. Even if we settle the bride price issue, he could still face criminal prosecution based on your testimony and evidence we gather. Those are two different legal tracks. So paying him does not mean he gets away with what he did? No. It means we resolve the immediate threat while building a criminal case. Jennifer is already coordinating with federal prosecutors who handle human trafficking cases. Your story, combined with evidence from other victims, could bring him down. But that takes time. The settlement buys us that time while keeping you safe. I let this sink in. Civil resolution to free me, criminal prosecution to ensure justice. Two parallel strategies. Jennifer Martinez arrives while we are still in the hospital. She has been researching traditional Chinese marriage contracts, talking to cultural experts, building the legal framework for what Ethan is proposing. It could work, she says, spreading documents across the hospital tray table. Traditional contracts include clauses about good faith negotiations. If we can prove your parents knew you were unwilling, that they misrepresented your consent to Vincent, he has grounds to sue them for fraud. And culturally, pursuing the parents who deceived him makes him look like the victim, not the aggressor. But it requires Vincent agreeing to meet, to negotiate. Why would he do that instead of just sending more men to beat me into submission? Because we make the alternative more expensive. Ethan has clearly been thinking about this. We file the lawsuits first, get media attention, make enough noise that Vincent has to respond. Then we offer him the settlement, a way to save face, recover his money with profit, and walk away from the civil matter clean. Meanwhile, federal prosecutors build the criminal case separately. It is a gamble. Everything depends on Vincent caring more about money and reputation than about punishment. But it is the only play I have that does not involve running or surrendering. Okay, my voice is rough but certain. Let us do it. The next 12 hours are a blur of legal documents, media statements, strategic phone calls. Jennifer Martinez files civil suits against both Vincent and my parents. Breach of contract. Fraud. She carefully separates these from the criminal complaints she is filing with federal prosecutors regarding human trafficking, kidnapping, and ongoing threats. She sends copies to major news outlets with a press release. Young woman forced into marriage arrangement sues family and wealthy businessman for fraud and seeks protection from ongoing harassment. The civil story has everything: wealth, tradition, immigration, human rights. By evening, it is trending on social media. Local news picks it up, then national outlets. Vincent Zhao's name is suddenly very public, very exposed. But Jennifer makes clear to reporters, the civil suit is about contract fraud. The criminal investigation is separate and ongoing. She does not want to compromise the criminal case by revealing too much publicly. Ethan's phone rings at 8 p.m., unknown number. He puts it on speaker. Mr. Sterling. The voice is smooth, cultured, absolutely cold. I believe we need to have a conversation. Vincent Zhao. Indeed, it seems your friend has made some very serious allegations, very public allegations about a civil contract dispute. She made truthful statements about what you and her parents did to her. And I should mention, federal prosecutors are also interested in your activities. That is a separate matter from the contract issue. I did not call to argue. I called to propose a meeting. Tomorrow. Neutral location, you, me, and Lin Mei. We resolve the civil contract dispute like civilized people. As for any other matters, my lawyers will address those through appropriate channels. What makes you think she wants to meet with you? What makes you think she has a choice? Vincent's voice sharpens. You have made this very public, Mr. Sterling. Very messy. I can make it messier. Or we can find a solution to the contract issue that benefits everyone. The other matters can proceed through proper legal processes. What kind of solution? The kind we discuss in person. Tomorrow, noon. I will send the location. He hangs up before Ethan can respond. I sit in Mrs. Chen's apartment, every breath painful from broken ribs, and realize we have done what we set out to do. Forced Vincent to negotiate the civil matter instead of simply taking. Now we have to survive the negotiation. The meeting takes place in a private dining room at an upscale restaurant in Midtown. Neutral territory. Public enough to be safe. Private enough to talk freely. Vincent Zhao arrives exactly at noon. He is everything I remember and nothing I remember. Still handsome in a cold way. Still impeccably dressed. Still moving with the absolute confidence of someone who has never been told no and meant it. But there is something new in his eyes when he looks at me. Not desire, not ownership. Calculation. Lin Mei, you look terrible. Your men made sure of that. He does not deny it, simply gestures for us to sit. We have a problem, the three of us. Your civil lawsuits are expensive, your media coverage is damaging to my business reputation, and your continued resistance is becoming tiresome. Then let me go. Simple solution. Not so simple. Vincent pours tea with steady hands. I paid $2 million for you based on your family's representations. Your family accepted that money in what I believed was good faith. Ethan speaks up. Led to believe? Are you saying her parents misrepresented the situation? Vincent's expression does not change, but something shifts. That is precisely what I am saying. I was told Lin Mei was willing, eager even, honored by the match. Instead, I received a girl who fought like a demon and escaped at first opportunity. Because you kidnapped me. Because you tried to force me into marriage. I secured my investment when you attempted to breach the agreement your parents made. Vincent's voice is patient, explaining to a child. Your parents took my money. You ran. The question is, who committed the fraud here? The twisted logic should enrage me, but I see what he is doing. Building the narrative, positioning himself as the victim for the civil case. Smart, because it lets him save face while potentially escaping the worst of the public relations damage. Ethan sees it too. So you were defrauded by her parents. Your bride price was taken under false pretenses. Vincent nods slowly. It appears that way in the civil contract matter. And in traditional Chinese culture, when a bride's family acts in bad faith, they are obligated to return the bride price, plus penalties for the deception. Vincent's interest sharpens. You have studied our traditions. I have studied what it takes to make this civil situation right. Ethan pulls out documents Jennifer Martinez prepared. We are prepared to offer you $8 million. Full payment for your original investment plus interest and penalties for the fraud committed by her parents in the marriage contract. In exchange for releasing Lin Mei from any civil obligation under that contract. No further contact regarding the marriage arrangement. No further civil pursuit. You position yourself publicly as the victim of her parents' contract fraud. You take the high road by showing mercy to a girl who was manipulated by her family. This resolves the civil matter. And the other matters? The criminal investigations? Those proceed through proper legal channels. We have been clear that this settlement addresses only the contract dispute, not any criminal complaints. Vincent is quiet for a long moment. $8 million is substantial compensation for a civil contract breach. It is more than fair. And if I refuse the civil settlement, if I insist Lin Mei still owes me under the contract, then the civil lawsuits continue. The media attention continues. Your business dealings face more scrutiny. Federal investigators will be very interested in your activities beyond this one case. Ethan's voice is calm, but certain. We make your life expensive and complicated until settling the contract dispute becomes the easier option, and the criminal matters proceed regardless. You threaten me. I offer you a better alternative for the civil issue. Money. Reputation partially restored through the fraud narrative. Legal troubles from this contract resolved. All you have to do is walk away from the marriage contract with someone who clearly does not want to be owned. Vincent looks at me, really looks at me, and for the first time I see something almost human in his expression. 4 years, Lin Mei. 4 years you have run from me. Did you really think you could escape forever? No, but I thought I could try. Why? What did you think you were running toward? Freedom. The word comes out simple, honest. A life where I choose my own path. Where I am more than someone's property or someone's duty or someone's shame. And have you found it, freedom? I'm starting to. Vincent turns to Ethan. You love her. Yes. Even knowing what she is? What she has done? The violence she is capable of? Especially knowing all of that. She has survived things that would have broken most people. That does not make her damaged. It makes her extraordinary. Something flickers in Vincent's expression, almost like regret, almost like recognition that he could have had something real if he had approached this differently. But men like Vincent do not change. They adapt, calculate, find new angles. $8 million, he says it slowly, considering. To settle the civil contract dispute, public positioning as the wronged party in the fraud case who showed mercy. Plus, all civil claims dropped. All media attention regarding the contract redirected toward her parents' fraud. You walk away clean from this civil matter. As for any criminal investigations, those are separate. Vincent nods. Very well. I accept your terms for the civil settlement, but I have one additional condition. What condition? An apology. From Lin Mei, acknowledging that her parents deceived me in the marriage contract, that I was not the villain in the civil matter, but another victim of their fraud. This is separate from any criminal matters, which will be handled by authorities. I want to refuse. Want to tell him that he is absolutely the villain, that he kidnapped me, that he has terrorized me for 4 years. But Ethan's hand finds mine under the table. Gentle pressure. A question. I think about freedom, about what it costs, about what I am willing to pay for it. I apologize for the deception my parents committed against you in the marriage contract. My voice is steady. They misrepresented my willingness. They took your money under false pretenses. That civil fraud was wrong. The words taste like ash, but they buy my freedom from the contract. Vincent stands. Then we have an agreement on the civil matter. My lawyers will contact yours to finalize settlement details. He leaves without another word. No goodbye, no acknowledgement that this is the end of 4 years of pursuit of the civil claim. Just business concluded, transaction completed, eh? When the door closes, I let out a breath I did not know I was holding. The civil matter is over. Ethan's voice is quiet. He is really going to release you from the contract. $8 million bought a lot of releasing. No. He could have refused, could have kept pursuing the contract claim out of pride. But he chose money and reputation over revenge on that issue. That is as close to victory as we were going to get on the civil side. What about the criminal case? Jennifer is already working with federal prosecutors. Your testimony, combined with evidence they have been gathering on Vincent's other activities, could lead to serious charges. But that is separate. That takes time. I lean against Ethan, careful of my broken ribs. Thank you. For what? For standing beside me. For not trying to fight my battles, but giving me the resources to fight them myself. For seeing me as a partner instead of a problem to solve. He wraps an arm around me, gentle, protective. You are welcome. The legal paperwork for the civil settlement takes 4 more days to finalize. Jennifer Martinez works with Vincent's lawyers to document everything. The release from the marriage contract, the settlement payment, the public statement positioning Vincent as the victim of fraud committed by my parents. My parents are served with lawsuits for the $8 million Ethan is paying Vincent to settle the civil contract dispute. They will face financial and legal consequences for their fraud. Part of me feels guilty. They are still my parents. But Mrs. Chen's words echo. Hurt people, wounds passed down like heirlooms. Breaking that cycle requires consequences. On the 5th day, my grandfather calls. Lin Mei. His voice is exactly as I remember. Strong, kind, warm. I start crying the moment I hear him speak. Grandfather, I have been following the news. I know everything now. What your parents did, what Vincent did, what you have endured. He pauses. I'm so proud of you. The words break something inside me. 4 years of holding everything together, and my grandfather's pride undoes me completely. I am sorry I did not contact you. I was afraid Vincent would hurt you. Child, I am old. I am not fragile. You should have called me, should have let me help. I know I should have done many things differently. But you survived. That is what matters. And now you are free from that contract. He sounds like he is smiling. Spring has come at last, little plum blossom. We talk for an hour. He tells me about his dojo, his students, his life. I tell him about New York, about Ethan, about choosing to stay instead of run. When we finally hang up, I feel lighter than I have in years. That evening, Ethan takes me to dinner. Not at Le Bernardin, somewhere small and quiet where we can talk without being recognized. I have a proposition for you, he says over wine. Another one? This one is different. Sterling hospitality is expanding internationally. I need someone who understands multiple cultures, speaks multiple languages, and can handle complex negotiations. Someone I trust completely. You are offering me a job. I am offering you a career, six-figure salary, travel, challenge, a chance to use your actual skills instead of hiding them. I study his face looking for the angle, the manipulation, but all I see is genuine respect. What if we break up? Then you still have a career you are qualified for, and references that will open doors anywhere. You have thought about this. I have thought about very little else for the past 5 days. He reaches across the table, takes my hand. I want you in my life, Sophia. Lin Mei, whatever name you choose, but I want you there as my partner. Equal. Not someone I saved or rescued or fixed. Someone I respect and admire and want to build something with. The words settle into my chest, warm and real. I have one condition. Name it. I want to visit my grandfather first. Make sure he is really safe. Talk to him about what happened. Of course, we will fly to San Francisco tomorrow. We? I am not letting you out of my sight until I am absolutely certain Vincent honors the civil settlement. Plus, I should probably meet your grandfather properly. And we should prepare for the criminal case prosecutors are building. He will like you. How do you know? Because he values honor over wealth, courage over comfort, and truth over convenience, just like you. Ethan smiles. High praise from someone who barely knows me. I have known you long enough. The important parts, anyway. And what parts are those? That you listen without trying to fix. That you respect my choices even when they scare you. That you stand beside me instead of in front of me. That you see me as a person, not a problem. Those seem like the important parts. We finish dinner, walk through the city streets. For the first time in 4 years, I am not looking over my shoulder, not calculating escape routes, not planning my next move. I am just existing, being, living. It feels like the greatest luxury in the world. My name is Lin Mei Chen, beautiful plum blossom. And after 4 years, 7 months, and 17 days of winter, spring has finally begun to arrive. The civil nightmare is ending. But I know the criminal case is just beginning. Vincent may face justice yet. And that thought, that possibility of real accountability beyond money, gives me hope I never thought I would feel. The flight to San Francisco feels like traveling backward through time. I have not been home in 4 years, 7 months, and 19 days. The city rising beneath us as we descend looks the same, the Golden Gate Bridge cutting through fog, the hills climbing toward the sky, the bay spreading out in shades of blue and gray. But I am not the same. The girl who ran from the city carried nothing but fear and a stolen $50,000. The woman returning carries broken ribs that are healing, a job offer from a man she is learning to trust, and something she thought she had lost forever: hope. Ethan sits beside me on the plane, working on his laptop, giving me space to process. He has been good at that, knowing when to be present and when to give distance. It is a skill I am still learning to appreciate. 4 years of being alone taught me self-reliance. Now I am learning that accepting help is not weakness. My grandfather is waiting at the airport. I see him before he sees me. Age 78, but standing straight, dressed in traditional Chinese clothing, his face weathered but strong. My throat closes. 4 years of staying away to keep him safe. 4 years of missing him. Then he sees me. His expression transforms. Joy, relief, love uncomplicated by conditions or expectations. Mamie, little plum blossom. I cross the distance between us as fast as my healing ribs allow. He embraces me carefully, knowing somehow that I am injured, that I need gentleness. We stand there in this middle of the airport, grandfather and granddaughter, reunited after too long apart. He smells like sandalwood and tea, like home. When we finally separate, he looks past me to Ethan, who has stayed back, giving us this moment. This is the man who paid $8 million for your freedom from that terrible contract. Grandfather, this is Ethan Sterling. Ethan, my grandfather, Master Chen Wei. Ethan bows with more formality than I expected. Master Chen, it is an honor to meet you. My grandfather studies him with the same careful attention he used to give students at his dojo, looking beyond the surface, seeing character, intention, spirit. You practice martial arts? Not a question, an observation. Taekwondo? Years ago. Nothing compared to what you taught Lin Mei. No, but enough to understand discipline, respect, the difference between violence and protection. He gestures toward the exit. Come, we have much to discuss. My grandfather's house in Chinatown is exactly as I remember. Two-story building, the first floor his dojo, the second floor his home. The wooden stairs creak in familiar patterns, the smell of incense and old wood, photographs on every wall, students through decades, family across generations. On the mantel, a photograph I have never seen before. My grandmother, young and beautiful, performing a form in the dojo. Beside it, a recent photo that makes my breath catch. It is me, age 8, mid-kick, concentration fierce on my small face. Your grandmother took that photo. My grandfather follows my gaze. She said you moved like water, like you were born understanding the forms. I did not know she was proud of me. I only remember her being distant, critical. She was proud, but she was also afraid. Of what? That you would face what she faced, what your mother faced, the burden of being a woman in a world that wants to own us. She thought if she taught you to be hard, you would survive better than if she taught you to be soft. I think about this, about generational trauma, about my grandmother teaching my mother to be hard, my mother teaching me the same through her distance and criticism. Hurt people, but also hurt people try to protect people. Sometimes the protection looks like abandonment. My grandfather makes tea. The ritual I learned from him, performed now in reverse. I watch his hands, steady despite his age, preparing the ceremony with the same precision he taught me. Tell me about this man who bought your freedom from the marriage contract. His eyes flick to Ethan, who sits quietly, observing. What do you want to know? His character, his intentions, whether he sees you as a person or a possession. I look at Ethan, trying to see him through my grandfather's eyes. A wealthy white man who swept in with money to solve problems. It could look like another form of ownership, another transaction, but that is not what it is. He sees me, not what I can do for him, not what I represent, just me. He offered me a job before he offered me anything romantic. He stood beside me, not in front of me. When I was beaten, he did not try to fight my battles. He gave me resources to fight them myself. My grandfather nods slowly. Those are good answers, but I want to hear from him. Ethan straightens slightly, understanding he is being evaluated, tested. Master Chen, I cannot claim to understand everything your granddaughter has endured. I have lived a privileged life, but I know that Lin Mei is the strongest, most courageous person I've ever met. And I know that trying to own her would be like trying to own the ocean, pointless and insulting. Why did you pay $8 million for someone you barely know? Because it was not about knowing her long enough. It was about knowing her well enough. I saw who she is and how she treated strangers with kindness, how she protected other workers, how she survived 4 years of being hunted without losing her humanity. That is someone worth protecting from an unjust contract. And what do you want from her now? Nothing she does not want to give. Ethan's voice is steady, certain. I offered her a job because she is qualified. I asked her to stay in my life because I care about her. But if tomorrow she decides to walk away, I will respect that choice. My grandfather is quiet for a long moment. Then he smiles, small and approving. You understand. Many men claim to love strong women, but what they really love is the idea of taming them. You do not want to tame my granddaughter. No, sir. I want to stand beside her and see what she builds when she is finally free to build instead of survive. That evening, my grandfather cooks dinner. Simple food prepared with care. We eat together, the 3 of us, and it feels like family. Not the family I was born into, fractured by greed and tradition, but the family I am choosing, building. After dinner, my grandfather asked me to practice forms with him. In his dojo, the space where I learned to move, to fight, to exist in my body with purpose and power. Ethan watches from the side. My grandfather and I move through the forms together. His movements slower now, but still precise. Mine faster, but following his rhythm. Student and master, granddaughter and grandfather. When we finish, my grandfather sits on the bench where he used to sit to observe students. You move differently now. Less like you are preparing for attack. More like you are celebrating being alive. Is that good or bad? It is growth. He gestures for me to sit beside him. When you left 4 years ago, you moved like a weapon. Efficient, deadly, controlled. Now you move like a person who has remembered that Kung Fu is not about fighting. It is about understanding yourself and your place in the world. I have been so focused on surviving, I forgot about living. Now you remember. That is spring. Not the absence of winter, but the remembering of what grows when winter ends. The next morning, I do something I have been avoiding. I call my mother. She answers on the third ring, Lin Mei. Her voice is cautious, surprised. Mother, silence. Then I saw the news, the lawsuits, what you said about Vincent, about us. It was the truth. Truth told publicly is still shame brought on family. I let that sit for a moment. Then, I am coming to see you today. We need to talk. Your father and I do not have anything to say to you, but I have things to say to you. I will be there at 2 o'clock. I hang up before she can refuse. Ethan offers to come with me. I tell him no. This is something I need to do alone. My parents' house looks smaller than I remember. Or perhaps I have grown larger. 4 years of surviving on my own, building a life from nothing, learning that I am capable of more than I believed. My mother opens the door. She has aged, new lines around her eyes, gray threading through her hair. She looks tired, sad. Lin Mei, she does not invite me in, just stands in the doorway like I am a stranger. A threat. Mother, may I come in? She steps aside. The house is exactly as I remember. Furniture in the same positions. Photographs on the walls of relatives I barely know. No photographs of me. Oh. My father sits in his chair in the living room. He does not stand when I enter, does not acknowledge me beyond a slight nod. I sit across from them, 3 people connected by blood and separated by choices. I came to tell you that the civil lawsuit is going forward. You will be responsible for $8 million to Vincent Zhao because you committed fraud in that marriage contract. Your assets will likely be seized. You may face criminal fraud charges as well. My father's face hardens. You bring shame to this family. Ungrateful daughter who cannot accept duty. I was 17. You sold me to a man who kidnapped and beat me. That is not duty. That is abuse. We gave you opportunity, a good match, financial security. You gave me trauma that I have spent 4 years trying to survive. My mother finally speaks. We did what we thought was best. What our parents taught us was right. Daughters honor family through marriage. And what about my honor? What about my right to choose my own life? She looks away, cannot or will not meet my eyes. I take a breath. Try a different approach. Mrs. Chen told me you wanted to be a doctor. My mother's head snaps up, shock in her eyes. She told me grandmother made you give up university, made you marry father, told you that educated daughters bring shame. My mother's hands clench in her lap. That is not your concern. It is my concern because you did to me what was done to you, took my choices because yours were taken, made me pay for wounds I did not cause. What do you want from us, Lin Mei? My mother's voice cracks slightly. Forgiveness, understanding. We cannot give you those things. We did what we believed was right. I do not want forgiveness. I want you to understand that what you did was wrong, that selling your daughter, that choosing money over her safety, that supporting a man who kidnapped her, those things were not duty. They were betrayal. And if we cannot acknowledge that, then we have nothing more to say to each other. I stand to leave. My mother speaks before I reach the door. I was 18 when I married your father. I wanted to save lives. Instead, I became a housewife who could not save her own daughter from making the same mistakes I made. I turn back. You did not make a mistake, Mother. Grandmother made a choice for you. You made a choice for me. These are not the same as mistakes. What is the difference? Mistakes are accidents. Choices are intentional. You chose money over my safety. That was not an accident. And you chose to destroy our family name, to bring public shame, to make us pay for doing what our culture demanded. I chose freedom over suffering. If that destroys our family name, perhaps our family name deserved to be destroyed. My mother flinches as if struck. My father stands, face red with anger. Get out! You are no longer our daughter. I have not been your daughter since you accepted $2 million for me. I am simply making it official. I leave their house. Do not look back. Feel lighter despite the sadness. Because I said what I needed to say. Because I acknowledged the truth. Because I released them from the obligation of loving me the way I deserved. Some wounds do not heal. Some relationships cannot be repaired. And that is okay. I can grieve the parents I should have had while accepting the parents I actually have. These things can both be true. Ethan is waiting in the car at the end of the block, like he knew I would need him nearby even if not present. How did it go? I told them the truth. They refused to hear it. We are done. I am sorry. I am not. I look at my childhood home one last time. They chose who they wanted to be. Now I get to choose who I want to be. And I choose to be someone who does not carry their wounds anymore. 6 months later, I stand in a restaurant in Hong Kong, watching the final preparations for Sterling Hospitality's first Asian expansion. Not the $40 million deal Derek envisioned. Something smaller, more carefully planned, built on relationships instead of transactions. I am Chief International Officer. The title still feels surreal, but the work feels right. I negotiated this deal myself, worked with local partners, navigated cultural complexities, used every skill my grandfather taught me, not in fighting, but in understanding, respecting, building bridges. My immigration status was resolved 3 months ago. Jennifer Martinez successfully petitioned for a U visa, reserved for victims of crimes who assist law enforcement. My testimony about Vincent, combined with evidence from other women he trafficked, qualified me. The visa gives me legal status and a path to permanent residency. No more fear of deportation. No more fake identities. Just Lin Mei, legally documented, legally protected. The restaurant opens tomorrow. Reviews are already promising. Reservations booked solid for 3 months. Ethan finds me in the kitchen, reviewing final details with the executive chef. You are going to wear yourself out checking everything 17 times. 18. I need to check the wine inventory one more time. He laughs, pulls me away from my clipboard. It is perfect. You made it perfect. Now let yourself enjoy it. What if something goes wrong? Then we will handle it. Together. That word still takes getting used to. Together. Partnership. Not being alone. Mrs. Chen arrives for the opening, having flown from New York. She walks through the restaurant with the eye of someone who understands kitchens, service, the delicate balance of hospitality. Your grandmother would be proud. She touches my arm gently. You built something beautiful. We built something beautiful. I could not have done this without your guidance. I gave you wisdom, you gave it wings. The opening night is flawless. Guests arrive, are seated, served, delighted. The kitchen runs like precision machinery. Every detail I obsessed over pays off. In a quiet moment, standing in the dining room watching everything I helped create function perfectly, Ethan appears beside me. Remember the night we met? You were serving tables at Le Bernardin. Invisible. Keeping everyone at distance. I remember. Look at you now. I look around the restaurant. At the staff I hired, trained, trusted. At the systems I built. At the success I created, not through hiding, but through showing up fully. Thank you for seeing me when I was trying to be invisible. Thank you for letting me see you. The surprise guest arrives during dessert service. Derek Morrison, looking humbler than I have ever seen him. Thinner, older, carrying the weight of choices that cost him everything. Security tries to intercept him. I wave them off. Derek. Sophia Lin Mei. He corrects himself. I came to apologize. To both of you. Ethan tenses beside me. I touch his arm gently. Let him speak. Derek looks between us. What I did was unforgivable. Calling Vincent. The immigration investigation. Treating you like an obstacle instead of a person. I have been in therapy for 6 months trying to understand how I became someone capable of that. And what did you learn? Ethan's voice is cold. That I viewed everything transactionally because I was terrified of actual human connection. That I destroyed our partnership and endangered an innocent woman because I could not admit I was wrong. That money and success are worthless if you have to compromise your humanity to achieve them. I study his face, looking for manipulation, for the angle. But all I see is genuine remorse. Why are you here, Derek? To apologize, to tell you that you were right to fire me, to let you know that I have cooperated fully with federal investigators looking into Vincent Zhao's operations. He is facing criminal charges now. Human trafficking, kidnapping, fraud, multiple counts involving at least 6 women over 10 years. Because of your testimony? Because of my testimony and evidence I provided about his operations. And the other women I knew about. It does not undo what I did, but maybe it prevents him from doing it to someone else. Ethan is quiet for a long moment. Then, thank you for that. But it does not mean we are friends again. I know. Derek nods. I just wanted you to know that I understand what I lost, and that I am trying to be better. After he leaves, I turn to Ethan. That was hard for you, seeing him. Yes, but also necessary. Some people do change. Does not mean we have to let them back into our lives. But acknowledging their growth is not the same as forgiving their harm. You have gotten wise. I had a good teacher. He smiles. Someone who survived 4 years of impossible circumstances and came out the other side stronger instead of bitter. I am working on the bitter part. You are allowed to be bitter about what happened to you. You are allowed to be angry. You just did not let it consume you. The night winds down, guests leave satisfied, staff clean up efficiently, everything running like it should. Ethan and I stand on the restaurant's balcony, looking out over Hong Kong's skyline. Lights spreading out like stars fall into earth. What are you thinking? He asks. That 5 months ago I was running. 4 years before that I was running. My whole adult life has been about moving away from things. And now? Now I am building toward things. Career, relationships, a future that is more than just surviving the next day. How does it feel? Terrifying and wonderful. He takes my hand. I have something for you. Ethan, not an engagement ring, not yet. I know we are still figuring this out. But I wanted to give you something. He hands me a small box. Inside is a jade pendant, carved in the shape of a plum blossom. Your grandfather helped me choose it. Traditional design. He said plum blossoms bloom in winter. They are the first sign that spring is coming. I hold the pendant, feeling its weight, its meaning. There is an inscription on the back. I turn it over. Chinese characters, I read them aloud. The winter is over. Spring has arrived. My eyes fill with tears. It is perfect. So are you. We stand together on the balcony, watching the city breathe below us, and I let myself feel something I thought I had lost forever. Peace. Not the absence of struggle, not the guarantee that nothing will ever be hard again, but the knowledge that I am strong enough to face what comes, that I have people who stand beside me, that I am finally free to build instead of just survive. My name is Lin Mei, beautiful plum blossom. For 4 years, 7 months, and 23 days, I lived in winter, running, hiding, surviving. But winter always ends. And when it does, when the plum blossoms finally bloom, they are more beautiful for having survived the cold. 2 years after that opening in Hong Kong, Sterling Hospitality operates in 12 countries. I have negotiated deals in 6 languages, built partnerships across cultures, created something I am genuinely proud of. Ethan and I married 1 year ago. Small ceremony in San Francisco, my grandfather officiating, Mrs. Chen standing as my family. My parents did not come. I did not expect them to. Some wounds do not heal, but they do stop bleeding. We split our time between New York, Hong Kong, and wherever the work takes us. It is not the life I imagined when I was 17, running from Vincent Zhao with stolen money and terror in my heart. It is better, because it is mine, chosen, built, earned. My grandfather visits often. He is 81 now, moving slower, but still teaching at his dojo, still passing down wisdom to students who do not yet understand that Kung Fu is not about fighting. Mrs. Chen runs the New York restaurant, head of operations, treating staff with the same kindness she showed me when I was alone and afraid. I have not spoken to my parents in 2 years, but I think about my mother sometimes, about the doctor she wanted to be, about the dreams she buried, about the woman she might have become if she had been given choices instead of duties. I do not forgive her, but I understand her. These things can both be true. Last month, I received news about Vincent Zhao. The federal trial concluded. Guilty on all counts: human trafficking, kidnapping, conspiracy, fraud, 15 years in federal prison. Derek's testimony was crucial. So was mine. So were the testimonies of 5 other women who finally felt safe enough to come forward. Vincent sent me a letter from prison. 3 lines. You won. You were stronger than I expected. I hope you have found the freedom you were looking for. I did not respond. Some conversations do not require answers. Today, I am in San Francisco, standing in my grandfather's dojo with my goddaughter, Mrs. Chen's granddaughter, 6 years old, eager to learn forms. I show her the basic stance: feet shoulder-width apart, knees slightly bent, center of gravity low and stable. Why do we learn this? She asks. Because Kung Fu teaches us to understand ourselves and our place in the world. But I want to learn to fight. Fighting is easy. Understanding is hard. I adjust her posture gently. My grandfather taught me that the most important victories happen when nobody is watching, in how we treat people when they cannot help us. in how we stand up when we are afraid, in choosing what is right, even when what is easy is available. Did your grandfather teach you to fight? He taught me to survive, and then he taught me to live. Those are different skills. Which is more important? Both. You need to survive before you can live, but you need to remember to live after you have survived. My grandfather watches from the side, his expression proud and peaceful. This is legacy, not in blood or money or family name, but in wisdom passed down, in strength shared, in the knowledge that every generation teaches the next how to bloom after winter. Ethan arrives to pick me up, sits beside my grandfather, watching me teach. She is good with children, my grandfather observes. She will be good with our own someday. Ethan smiles. We are working on that. After the lesson, the goddaughter runs to her mother. My grandfather Ethan and I walk through Chinatown. 3 generations and cultures, bound not by blood but by choice. My grandfather stops at a small park, points to a plum tree, branches heavy with blossoms. Do you remember what I told you when you were young about plum blossoms? That they bloom in winter, that they are the first sign of spring. Do you know why they bloom when everything else is dormant? I shake my head. Because they are patient. They wait through the cold, storing strength, preparing. And when the time is right, when winter begins to end, they bloom more beautifully than flowers that never faced hardship. I look at the blossoms, pink and white against gray sky, delicate but strong, beautiful because they survived. You were my plum blossom, born in spring, forced into winter too young, but you waited, you survived, and now you bloom. I embrace my grandfather, this man who taught me to fight and to live, who supported my choices even when it cost him, who waited 4 years for me to come home. Thank you for everything. No thanks needed. This is what grandparents do. We plant seeds and hope they grow strong enough to weather storms. Ethan and I return to our hotel. Tomorrow we fly to Singapore for another opening, another negotiation, another challenge. But tonight, we are just 2 people who found each other against impossible odds, who built something real from nothing but hope and determination. What are you thinking? Ethan asks, watching me stare out the window at the city. That I am grateful. For what? For you. For my grandfather. For Mrs. Chen. For every person who stood beside me instead of trying to stand in front of me. I turn to face him, for surviving long enough to get here. We have built something good. We have, and we are not done building. No, we are just beginning. He pulls me close, careful and gentle. We have learned each other's wounds, each other's strengths, built partnership on foundation of respect and choice. I love you, Lin Mei Chen. Every version of you. The fighter, the survivor, the executive, the teacher, the woman who is finally free. I love you too, for seeing me, for standing beside me, for understanding that loving someone means trusting them to make their own choices. Outside, the city moves through its evening rhythms. Inside, we hold each other, 2 people who survived their own winters and found spring together. My name is Lin Mei Chen, beautiful plum blossom. I was born during spring, forced into winter at 17, survived 4 years of running and hiding in fear. But winter ended. Spring arrived, and the plum blossoms, patient and strong, bloomed more beautifully for having survived the cold. This is not the end of my story. It is the beginning of the chapter where I finally stop running and start living, where I build instead of survive, where I choose my own path instead of following paths others chose for me, where I am finally, completely, irrevocably free. The winter is over, spring has arrived, and I am home.